Chapter 198. Cheng Menjing had almost forgotten about Yi Xiaoya because of the time difference. Today was the weekend. When she saw Yi Xiaoya and thought of the previous conflict, Cheng Menjing was full of anger at once. Whoever asks others to carry the bag can do it. If it were me, I would definitely carry it myself. Yi Xiaoya said. You can carry it. Cheng Menjing didn't believe that Yi Xiaoya could carry the super big bag in front of her. You will know whether I can carry it or not after trying. Yi Xiaoya just didn't like Cheng Menjing. She acted like a rich lady, but she had a good family background, didn't she? Xiao Chen had helped her, so she was naturally partial to Xiao Chen. She didn't want Xiao Chen to be bullied by her every day. Xiao Chen put it down. I will show it to her. Well, Xiao Chen was a little helpless. Others might not know, but he knew that Yi Xiaoya's strength. It was a piece of cake for her to carry it. Xiao Chen put down the travel bag, but Yi Xiaoya picked it up directly without any difficulty. She even raised it over her head and shook it, as if it were air. Then she put it down on the ground. What do you say? Ah, Cheng Menjing was dumbfounded. She didn't expect that Yi Xiaoya could carry it. Was the bag really not heavy? Cheng Menjing tried to pick it up with her hands subconsciously, but she couldn't carry it at all. Cousin Menjing, she has the qualifications to be someone else's personal maid. We can't carry it. She might as well be a rich lady, Jean Bebe said. Cheng Menjing's eyes glittered when she heard Jean Bebe's words. Right. She had regarded the word Miss Jiao as an insult to her. But on second thought, it was better to be a rich lady than to be a maid. Yi Xiaoya was destined to be a maid. Therefore, she put her hands on her waist and said proudly, Right. You can carry it, so what? It's because you don't have servants, but I do. Yes, Cousin Menjing, I'm just envious, jealous, and hateful. Look, her face is green. Jean Bebe nodded and said, You. Yi Xiaoya glared at Jean Bebe. Every time she had the upper hand in a quarrel with Cheng Menjing, she would be killed by Jean Bebe. Let's go. It's time for an outing. Some people don't have the chance to go. They can only play the real-life version of Happy Ranch at home and plant some flowers and plants. Jean Bebe hopped out of the villa. Cheng Menjing followed her. Looking at Yi Xiaoya, whose face had turned from green to black, Xiao Chen sighed and shrugged. Then he went out with the big bag. It was difficult to reason with Jean Bebe. Not to mention that Yi Xiaoya didn't even care about it at all. After they walked out of the villa, they saw that Chao Yuliang and Chen Jinping were already there. In the yard of the villa, an Audi Q7 and a minivan were parked. The Audi Q7, on the other hand, was brand new. Its shiny paint was shining brightly under the sun. On the other hand, the minivan beside it had been sold many times over the years. It was extremely tattered, and the paint was peeling off. There was also a dent at the rear, and the license plate was not hung properly. This car, why is it so shabby? Cheng Menjing pointed at the van in the yard and was stunned. Where did you get it? Well, this is my new car. Chen Jinping said in a hurry, haha. I don't have much money recently. So, I borrowed the grocery cart from the restaurant in my family. In fact, even the grocery cart of the Chen family was better than this one. It was a modified RV. The minivan was bought by Chen Jinping at a second-hand market for 2,000 yuan. He was truly scared of Jean Bebe's tricks. He drove a luxury car, but he was tricked into buying it. Now that he had changed to a shabby xian, Jean Bebe wouldn't be interested in it anymore. Would she? Oh, that's great. Put everything in your car. Let's take the Q7. Jingxian, you and I will take the same car. Cheng Menjing said as she instructed Xiao Chen to put the travel bag in Chen Jinping's car. Where's my appearance fee? Xiao Chen placed his travel bag on the van and asked Chen Jinping, who had a bitter look on his face. Chen Jinping was very upset. Although he could avoid being tricked by Jean Bebe by changing to a shabby car, he could not sit in the same car with Shen Jingxian anymore. However, his car was too shabby, and he could not invite Cheng Menjing to get in. What appearance fee? Didn't I give you the money for the meal? Chen Jinping was stunned and said, Didn't you give me the appearance fee for the meal? Today is the appearance fee for the trip. I can buy 2 cars if you give me the money. Xiao Chen stretched out his hand and said, How much do you want this time? Brother Xiao, I'm so poor. Look at my car. It's of such a level. Where can I find the money? Chen Jinping complained about being poor. Oh, then I'll go to the morning market to sell fried dough sticks. Tang Tang is waiting for me. Xiao Chen said. No. Wait a minute. Let me see whether Brother Liang has money or not. This time, Chen Jinping and Xiao Yuliang had planned to kill Xiao Chen. If Xiao Chen did not go, who else could they kill? Chen Jinping got out of the car and came to Xiao Yuliang. He whispered something in his ear. Then, Xiao Yuliang's face changed. He did not expect that Xiao Chen had become so greedy. Why did he want so much money? Previously, Xiao Yuliang did not think too much about it. However, now that he thought about it carefully, Xiao Chen kept asking for money, but it was useless. He had food and a place to stay, and Jean Bebe had tricked him into a car. He had everything. Why would he need money? And he was so greedy? Generally, people who desperately wanted money had a purpose. Xiao Chen, who had no purpose, wanted so much money. Xiao Yuliang frowned slightly, but after thinking about it, Xiao Chen was going to die today. Why did he need money? Give him 500,000. Xiao Yuliang whispered to Chen Jinping. You know the password of my card. Transfer it to him. Okay. Chen Jinping nodded. He returned to Xiao Chen and said, Brother Xiao, how about 500,000? I won't bargain with you. Let's fix the price. After all, it's 2 days and 1 night. Let's camp at the seaside tonight. Okay. In fact, Xiao Chen had already heard his and Xiao Yuliang's whispers. With Xiao Chen's sharp ears, he could definitely hear it. But he was satisfied with 500,000. Including the 2,050,000 he had left, Xiao Chen had 2,500,000 in total. Even if he did not make a breakthrough with this medicine, he could make another one with more money. Chen Jinping breathed a sigh of relief and transferred the money to Xiao Chen. He was trying his best to comfort Xiao Chen. As long as Xiao Chen arrived at the seaside, it would be beyond his control. Li Shanying had arranged everything. At that time, Xiao Chen would be doomed. Xiao Chen sat in the passenger seat of the Audi Q7, while Cheng Minjing, Jean Bebe, and Xin Jingxian sat in the back row. Chen Jinping drove behind them. I used to think that Xiao Yuliang could be my subordinate and drive for me. Now my wish has finally come true, Xiao Chen said after getting in the car. Ha! Xiao Yuliang gave a hollow laugh and thought, I'll let you fulfill your wish before you die. You piece of trash, how can you compare with me? I'm willing to be Cheng Minjing's driver. I can do it for the rest of my life. I already have a driver. I don't need you. Cheng Minjing snorted and said, My driver must be able to do heavy work. He has to do all the dirty and tiring work. Then I can do it too. Xiao Yuliang said hurriedly, Minjing, you underestimate me. I can do whatever Xiao Chen can do. If you let me do it in the future, Xiao Chen won't have to do it anymore. He can be more free. That's great. Liangzi, I'll watch you show your power later. My cousin-in-law is quite lazy and doesn't want to work. He won't be willing to be a servant. I don't like lazy people either. Jean Bebe interrupted. Of course. I'm so hard-working, Xiao Yuliang said, feeling good about himself. Xiao Chen couldn't help but sneer inwardly. This idiot. You'll cry when I tell you to work later. Seeing that the Miss and Jean Bebe were able to settle a free laborer with a few words, Linny was more than happy. I don't want to be your servant. Who would want to work hard without pay? All right, Xiao Chen. I want to change my position with you. Xiao Yuliang thought to himself. Xiao Chen really didn't know how lucky he was. However, Xiao Chen seemed to be having an affair with Jean Bebe right now, and there was nothing between him and Cheng Minjing. Therefore, it was normal that he didn't like Cheng Minjing. The car left the city quickly. Xiao Chen had been taking a nap in the passenger seat, while Cheng Minjing, Shen Jingxian, and Jean Bebe were whispering to each other, discussing what to do when they arrived at the seaside. In the beginning, it was naturally on the way. However, when they arrived at the seaside road, there were more cars. It was the weekend, and most of them were tourists who came here for vacation. Self-driving tours were popular nowadays, so the roads were basically jammed. The car moved forward step by step. It was rare for it to move 20 meters smoothly. Xiao Chen, something's not right. Elder Heaven Ancestor's voice suddenly sounded next to Xiao Chen's ears. Xiao Chen immediately became alert and released his divine sense and mental strength. Did Qiao Yuliang choose to take action here? Or did someone else want to take action against him? Of course, while releasing his divine sense, Xiao Chen was also secretly observing Qiao Yuliang's movements. If it was Qiao Yuliang's arrangement, there would definitely be something wrong. Although Qiao Yuliang was good at disguising himself and had hidden his strength for so long, there would still be something wrong in this situation. Of course, if one did not pay attention, one would not notice it. However, Xiao Chen had been secretly paying attention to Qiao Yuliang. Therefore, he found that Qiao Yuliang had been secretly paying attention to the GPS in the car. Moreover, he had enlarged the map to a very large scale. He seemed to be looking for a location. Is he going to take action somewhere? Seeing Qiao Yuliang's attention, Xiao Chen secretly became alert. Soon, Qiao Yuliang's car began to slow down. Originally, he was closely following the car ahead. But now, he had unknowingly pulled more than 10 meters away from the car ahead. Moreover, Qiao Yuliang's car was also very slow. He kept moving forward slowly and leisurely. Chapter 199. After walking for a short distance, Qiao Yuliang stopped the car. Although the car in front of him had stopped, it was still more than 10 meters away from him. It was almost 20 meters away. Xiao Chen's heart trembled. His divine sense immediately locked onto the top of the car, on top of an elevated railway bridge. If one didn't look carefully, most people would ignore this place. However, Xiao Chen saw that on top of the elevated railway bridge, there were a few people doing maintenance work. Of course, Xiao Chen didn't know if they were the real maintenance workers. But Xiao Chen didn't believe that the people doing the maintenance were experts of the 3rd or 4th level of inner strength. Normally, if a martial artist did not deliberately hide their inner strength, they would unconsciously bring out some inner strength when they raised their hands and feet, revealing their strength. However, ordinary people would definitely not be able to detect it. Only other martial artists would be able to sense it. Xiao Chen's divine sense felt that these people seemed to want to use something to attack the car below, which was the car that Xiao Chen was sitting in. If it was an ordinary person, throwing something from such a high altitude would definitely have a deviation. Even if it was falling vertically, it was hard to say where it would hit due to the direction of the wind and other factors. However, martial artists were different. With a martial artist's inner strength, although it couldn't be said to hit where it was pointed, if it was hit vertically, the accuracy could still reach 90%. If it was a person who had practiced, then it wouldn't be strange for them to hit 100%. Are they trying to kill me by throwing something from a high altitude? Xiao Chen realized that after Qiao Yuliang failed to hire an assassin, he began to like to create accidents for himself. Is it because of the Jin family's announcement? Thinking about it, it was also possible. If he died accidentally, it had nothing to do with others. Even if the Golden Fur Lion King went crazy, it couldn't blame others. Even if Xiao Chen was a cultivator at the peak of the 4th level of the refinement stage, if he was hit by the Iron Throne from such a high altitude, he would definitely die. He would be directly smashed into a meat patty. Thinking of this, at the moment when the person above was about to throw, Xiao Chen seemed to inadvertently put his hand on the car and directly injected a trace of yuan qi into the car's accelerator pedal. The car, which was originally parked, suddenly moved forward until it passed a parking space before it stopped. Huh. Qiao Yuliang was taken aback. You can even drive on flat ground? Chen Jinpeng, who was following behind, did not have a GPS in his car. He had been following Qiao Yuliang's car the whole way. When he saw Qiao Yuliang driving forward, he naturally followed suit. However, just as he followed, he heard a loud bang and felt the whole car shaking. A huge piece of metal smashed in through the roof and directly hit Chen Jinpeng's passenger seat. The passenger seat was dented, and the piece of metal was smashed to the bottom of the car. The car was completely wrecked. F***CK. Chen Jinpeng broke out in a cold sweat. What was going on? Didn't Li Shanning say that he would smash Xiao Chen to death? Why did it hit his car? Luckily, he was driving in a straight line. If he was a little crooked, wouldn't he be smashed to death? Chen Jinpeng quickly pushed the door and got out of the car. In front, Qiao Yuliang was shocked when he heard the loud bang. He stopped the car and got out. When he saw Chen Jinping's smashed car, his face suddenly turned gloomy. This really smashed Xiao Chen. It almost smashed Chen Jinping to death. Chao Yuliang looked up. The people on the railway viaduct had already left. He didn't know where they went. He turned around and looked at Chen Jinping. If the car can't be driven, push it to the side of the road. You take the things down and sit in my car. Okay. Chen Jinping cursed Li Shannying in his heart for not keeping his word. At the same time, he felt a little aggrieved. Can't I have a car that really belongs to me? Why can't I drive one? If it's not scammed away, it's smashed. Chen Jinping went to push the van to the side of the road. With his strength as a martial artist at the peak of the second stage of inner force, it was easy. Although the previous accident seemed quite scary, there were no casualties, so no one stayed to watch the fun. They all bypassed and left. Carrying the bag, Chen Jinping walked to the Audi Q7. Chao Yuliang's car was a 5-door 7-seater model. There were 2 seats in the last row, but the space wasn't that big. It was obviously uncomfortable to sit with the luggage, so Chen Jinping didn't want to sit. Xiao Chen, why don't you sit in the back? Chen Jinping thought about it and asked Xiao Chen. I'm not going. Xiao Chen directly refused. If you want to go, you go. If you don't want to go, then run with the car. Menjing, do you think the servants should sit in the back? Chao Yuliang also knew that Chen Jinping was angry and panicked now. It was indeed not good to let him sit in the back, so he wanted to ask Cheng Menjing. The servants don't have to go. Cousin-in-law, why don't you go home? Since this car is so crowded, Jean Bebe said. I'll sit in the back. Chen Jinping took a deep breath. He asked Cheng Menjing and Xin Jingxian to get out of the car and jump to the back. What a joke. It was not easy to get Xiao Chen here with 500,000 yuan. If Xiao Chen went back, who would be the one to kill? If I don't sit in the back, where should I sit? Liangzi, you can't do it. You don't have any self-awareness. When you were working for me, you never dared to provoke me. How dare you pretend to be awesome now? Xiao Chen patted Chao Yuliang's shoulder and said, Besides, your car doesn't seem to work very well. I remember that Jean Bebe's family has a similar car, which also moves forward on its own. Is yours the same? Chao Yuliang's heart suddenly palpitated, and his face almost turned green. No, this car belongs to my family. Oh, do you want to check the vehicle license? Xiao Chen asked. No need. I didn't bring it. Chao Yuliang was so scared that he almost peed his pants. He suddenly realized that the current Xiao Chen was even more troublesome, shameless, and difficult to deal with than the previous Xiao Chen. He had been driven out of the family. Where did he get the confidence to go against me? However, as it happened, Chao Yuliang couldn't do anything about Xiao Chen at all. Chen Jinping got in the car and crouched in the back with a lot of travel bags. He couldn't have felt more uncomfortable. Seeing that Xiao Chen was enjoying the air conditioner in the front and taking a rest leisurely, Chen Jinping was so cramped that he didn't even have the space to move. He was a little resentful. Xiao Chen was already nothing, yet he was still so cool and awesome. Why was he doing this? His thoughts were similar to Chao Yuliang's. Logically, Xiao Chen should be someone who could be trampled on easily, but he seemed to be even more awesome than before. In the past, Chao Yuliang had dared to go against him, but now, Chao Yuliang almost listened to him. He gave him money and a car as if he was serving a master. Wow! Chen Jinping swore in his heart that he would definitely pay back the humiliation Xiao Chen had given him. When Xiao Chen died, he would whip his corpse to vent his hatred. What happened just now? Those workers were too careless. Why didn't we wait for the traffic police to come and sue their company? Shen Jingxian didn't know what had happened. She thought it was really an accident. However, Cheng Minjing and Jean Bebe didn't think so. How could there be so many accidents? However, how could Xiao Chen be so lucky to avoid it? If Chao Yuliang's car had moved back a few spaces, the person it would have hit would have been Xiao Chen. Who knows? It's fine if there are no casualties. We can't afford to waste time. Didn't you see those workers ran away? I guess they are all temporary workers. It will take a long time to sue their company. We still have to go out and have fun. Chao Yuliang explained. Right. Forget it. Anyway, I only spent 2,000 yuan on the car. I will buy another one when I come back. Xi Jinping also said. They didn't dare to tell the truth. There were no more accidents along the way. However, when they arrived at the seaside scenic area, Chao Yuliang didn't stop the car. Instead, he kept driving forward. The further they went, the less people there were. Further ahead was the dangerous water area. There were warning signs on the roadside. The water was deep, and the reefs were deep. Further ahead, there was a bigger warning sign. Dangerous aquatic creatures may appear in the area ahead. Please do not swim. Generally, there would be protective nets at the seaside to prevent large aquatic creatures from swimming over. In the swimming area, there would be several layers of protective nets to prevent sharks from getting in. However, in other areas, especially dangerous ones, the protective nets were not so strict. Many times, it was possible for the protective nets to break down. After all, it was impossible to inspect and repair them every day. They could only check them periodically. I'm told that there are sharks around here. Chao Yuliang pointed at a seaside area not far away and said, the fishing boats and fishing guns have been rented. They should have been delivered, right? Bebe, it seems to be quite dangerous here. Are we really going to stay here? Cheng Menjing was somewhat worried after what had happened earlier. She was afraid that Chao Yuliang would do something against Xiao Chen. It's not a problem, is it? We are not going into the sea directly. Jean Bebe got out of the car and walked to the seaside. The sea, you are so King big. Cheng Menjing was speechless. Then she heard Xiao Chen say, the sky, you are so King blue. Ha ha ha. Jean Bebe immediately burst into laughter. Only Xiao Chen could cooperate with her every day. Chao Yuliang and Xi Jinping looked at each other. As they expected, there was something wrong between Xiao Chen and Jean Bebe. Both of them were crazy when it came to tricking others. Ck. I'll kill you together when I have the chance, you shameless couple. Xi Jinping secretly spat. I'll go and ask when the boat rental company will deliver the boat. As Chao Yuliang spoke, he returned to the car and prepared to make a call. In fact, he was calling Li Shannying. Xi Jinping understood tacitly. He was afraid that Xiao Chen would come to move the things. So he immediately went ahead of him. Okay, I'll go and move the things. After the call went through, Chao Yuliang asked in a low voice. Young Master Shannying, what's going on today? Young Master Chao, why are you asking me? My people are all ready. Why are you driving forward? Li Shannying asked back. Chapter 200. The car suddenly slipped forward. I didn't mean it. Chao Yuliang smiled bitterly. But Jinping's car followed. Why did you make a move? Can you take back the water that has been spilled? Li Shannying said. Alright, there is still a plan. The boat will be delivered soon. Just wait. Alright, young Master Li. Chao Yuliang hung up the phone and glanced at Xi Jinping. It was my mistake today. The car slipped. They didn't have time to react. I see. Xi Jinping's heart was filled with resentment. Ck. It was better to follow Xiao Chen. At least Xiao Chen didn't almost kill me. Following you, this mistake almost killed me. However, in comparison, Xi Jinping hated Xiao Chen more. He could only think about it. Besides, what happened today was also Li Shannying's fault. What kind of lousy plan was that? It was easier to use a sniper rifle than to throw an object from a high altitude. Of course, in many cases, the martial arts families had to abide by the rules of the martial arts families. Although they were strong, they couldn't openly break the rules of the secular world. Living in the secular world, they had to accept the dual management of the Warrior Guild and the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. When they didn't violate the rules, the Warrior Guild might ignore them. However, if they really violated the rules, they would have to bear the consequences. Not to mention that they would send experts to deal with you. Even if they blocked your points and account in the Warrior Guild, it would be enough to make you suffer. Which martial arts family could bypass the Warrior Guild and exist alone? Perhaps the colorful Li family couldn't. And the Chao family and Chen family in Songning also couldn't. Xi Jinping was just fantasizing about it. He could kill Xiao Chen, but he couldn't break the rules of the secular world. It's okay. Li Shannying will send the fishing boat in a while. At that time, it will be easier to feed him to the sharks. Chao Yuliang said faintly. Don't blame me for what happened today. I want to kill Xiao Chen more than you do. I suspect that Xiao Chen did something to the car. Hearing Chao Yuliang's explanation, Chen Jinping suddenly remembered that his car's license had turned into Jin Beibei. Could it be that Xiao Chen really knew some tricks like magic? It was really possible. In this way, Chen Jinping didn't have such a big grudge against Chao Yuliang. He had to admit that Chao Yuliang was a scheming person. He pretended to be a playboy and hid his strength for so many years with Xiao Chen's. Cheng Minjing pretended to be careless. She walked past Xiao Chen and kicked the sand on the beach. Ah, there's a shell, it's pricking me to death. Xiao Chen, quickly help me pull it out. Xiao Chen. Okay. Xiao Chen was dazed for a moment and bent down. Right when Xiao Chen bent down, Cheng Minjing said in a low voice, "Hey, be careful later. Don't tell me that you don't know who the big iron block that fell was for." I know, but I'm used to it. It's okay. Xiao Chen reached out to take off Cheng Minjing's sandals indifferently. That's unnecessary. Cheng Minjing withdrew her foot and dodged. She was just making up a random excuse. Men and women should not touch each other. She was not happy to let Xiao Chen touch her foot. Also, seeing that the guy did not care at all and regarded her kindness as malice, she was quite angry. After hanging up the phone and moving the stuff, Chao Yuliang saw the scene not far away. A vague smile flashed on his lips. It seemed that Cheng Minjing did not treat Xiao Chen well at all. She was also on guard against him and would not let him take advantage of her. Now it seemed that if Xiao Chen died, Cheng Minjing would not retaliate too much. The only unstable factor was Jin Beibei. It would be great if Jin Beibei died too. Very soon, Li Shaniying's men arrived with 2 fishing boats. Chen Jinping pretended to sign a contract. Then Li Shaniying's men left, leaving the fishing boats behind. Boss Xiao Chen, do you want to go fishing or not? After Chen Jinping rented the fishing boats, he turned around and asked Xiao Chen, who was not far away. There are 2 fishing boats. Let's each take one, shall we? No, you go by yourself. I'm tired. Xiao Chen would not go if there was no benefit in it. Besides, who knew if there was something wrong with the boat? Was it a trick to trap him? Well, Chen Jinping was a little confused. He turned around and looked at Chao Yuliang. In the past, Xiao Chen was a man who liked to show off very much. Especially in front of Shen Jingxian, he would rush to go fishing. But now it was really hard for him to understand. Originally, when Chao Yuliang took Chen Jinping as his underling, he wanted to humiliate Xiao Chen. Secondly, because he had followed Xiao Chen for so many years, he thought that Xiao Chen knew Xiao Chen very well. As the saying goes, know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated. But now it seemed that this idiot did not know Xiao Chen as well as he did. Chao Yuliang gave Chen Jinping a look, then pointed in the direction of Shen Jingxian. Chen Jinping knew that Chao Yuliang wanted to make Shen Jingxian say a few words, using a honey trap or something. But Chen Jinping had his own difficulties. He couldn't order Shen Jingxian at all. She didn't listen to him. If Shen Jingxian could help them to harm Xiao Chen would have been dead long ago. Boss Xiao Chen, didn't you like to show off in front of Shen Jingxian the most? Chen Jinping couldn't persuade Shen Jingxian. In desperation, he could only run to Xiao Chen's side and whispered, "Think about it. When Shen Jingxian sees your heroic appearance, she might." Are you an idiot? Xiao Chen glanced at Chen Jinping. I found out that you followed Chao Yuliang for a while, and your brain was damaged. You like to be cuckolded, right? Do you mean to make your fiancé like me? Chen Jinping was not a smart person. Otherwise, he wouldn't be willing to be a lackey. He thought of this after being reminded by Xiao Chen. Before, he was thinking about Xiao Chen's previous performance, and ignored that he had become Shen Jingshuan's fiancé. Jingxian, Jinping wants me to show off my ability to catch fish in front of you. He wants you to see how valiant I look. What do you think? Before Chen Jinping could reply, Xiao Chen turned to look at Shen Jingxian, who was chatting with the young mistress not far away. Shen Jingxian was stunned, but when she saw Chen Jinping's embarrassed look, she knew that Xiao Chen might not be talking nonsense. She hated Chen Jinping even more, but she quickly figured out the key point. Chao Yuliang and Chen Jinping had been plotting to kill Xiao Chen. They didn't succeed last time, so they definitely wouldn't let it go. Although she wasn't clear about the plan this time, it seemed to be related to fishing. Otherwise, Chen Jinping wouldn't do this kind of action. It seems that your fiancé is very supportive of me. Then, I will reluctantly go fishing. Xiao Chen said faintly. Chen Jinping wanted to say support my ass, but he didn't dare to say it. If he said it and Xiao Chen didn't go, then he would bear the humiliation for nothing. But you have to go far away to fish. Where are the sharks near the shore? Why don't you let Xin Jingxian sit on my boat? Otherwise, she won't be able to see my heroic appearance, and I won't have the motivation to fish. Xiao Chen suggested. Chen Jinping cursed in his heart. Let you and Xin Jingxian on the boat? Then, wouldn't I be unable to take off my green hat? Thinking of this, Chen Jinping quickly said. No need. I will also go out to sea. I will drive the boat and pull her, and follow behind you. Okay, do as you wish. Although Xiao Chen said so, he had a question mark in his heart. Earlier, he had asked Xin Jingxian to get on his boat, because he wanted another protection. After all, the ocean was not like the continent. If she fell into the ocean, even though Xiao Chen was a cultivator, it would be difficult for him to deal with it. The best protection here was undoubtedly Xin Jingxian. If she went, Chen Jinping and Chao Yuliang would definitely be against her together with him. As for the eldest lady, Chao Yuliang had been crazy enough to kill her last time. Only Xin Jingxian of the Shen family could scare Chao Yuliang. Although the Shen family was not a local family in Songning City, they were certainly not to be messed with. The Shen family was the birthplace of the Shen family, and they were deeply connected to the Warriors Guild. It was impossible for Chao Yuliang to be reckless. Before, Xiao Chen had thought that Chao Yuliang and Chen Jinping would play tricks on the boat, but it did not seem to be the case. Chen Jinping was going to go to sea with them too. Was there something wrong with only one boat? Seeing that Xiao Chen was going to go fishing for Xin Jingxian, Cheng Minjing was more than infuriated. Why were you never so agile when I asked you to do anything? Xin Jingxian asked you to go fishing because of your valiant appearance? How infuriating. She did not know if he was really stupid, or just pretending to be stupid. I already told him that there might be danger, but he was still fooled because he was obsessed with Xin Jingxian, and ignored my advice. Cheng Minjing did not think that Xin Jingxian was bad, but she was Xiao Chen's fiancée. Then shall we go to sea now? Chen Jinping wanted to end the battle quickly. Brother Liang will start the fire by the shore. Oh, okay. Xiao Chen nodded indifferently. Chao Yuliang originally wanted to go to sea with Chen Jinping, but the fishing boat was a small one, and there was only space for 2 people on it, so he could only start the fire by the shore. In fact, starting a fire was not an easy job, especially when traveling. They would buy high-density compressed charcoal, which was very difficult to ignite. Even martial artists could not do it well, and could only blow on it while lighting it. However, Chao Yuliang had boasted that he could do anything. Moreover, how could he let Xiao Chen do it? Then how could he kill him? Hey Beibei, Xiao Chen is too unreliable. He can't risk his life for Xin Jingxian, can he? Cheng Minjing complained to Jean Beibei unhappily. Oh, cousin Minjing is jealous. Jean Beibei said with a smile. Why are you not nervous? Not angry? Don't you like him? Cheng Minjing was a little curious about Jean Beibei's attitude. It was impossible for her not to see through Chao Yuliang's scheme. Don't worry. Brother-in-law is a transformer. It's fine. Jean Beibei, on the other hand, believed in Xiao Chen. In her opinion, Xiao Chen only agreed to go fishing because he was confident. Besides, he is fishing for me. Why should I be angry? Chapter 201. Cheng Minjing couldn't understand Jean Beibei's logic. Where did she get her confidence from? He's obviously trying to please Xin Jingxian. He's fishing for Beibei. Cousin-in-law is the best to Beibei. Xin Jingxian is just an excuse. Jean Beibei said. You're really confident. Cheng Minjing shook her head, feeling a little dissatisfied. This Xiao Chen is good to Xin Jingxian, Jean Beibei, Tang Tang and Kerlin, but not me. Although Xin Jingxian wasn't willing to go out to sea with Chen Jinping, she was also a little worried about Xiao Chen. She really wanted to persuade Xiao Chen not to do so, but Chen Jinping was next to him. She couldn't say anything, so she could only follow, and see if there was anything she could help with. Boss Xiaochen, which boat do you want? Chen Jinping pointed at the two fishing boats on the beach and asked. Oh, I want this one. Xiao Chun pointed at one of the boats and said. Okay. Chen Jinping nodded, and was about to go to the other boat. Wait, I still want this one. This one's number is cooler 18. It's going to be rich. The previous one was 13. Doesn't it mean it's going to flip? It's inauspicious. Xiao Chun changed to the other boat. Oh, that's fine too. Chen Jinping didn't care so much. In his opinion, Xiao Chun couldn't escape the fate of flipping over no matter which boat he chose. However, Xiao Chun was surprised. It seemed that Chen Jinping and Chao Yuliang didn't do anything to the fishing boat. Xiao Chun changed boats temporarily to test whether there was a problem with one of the boats. But in the end, there shouldn't be any problems. With Chen Jinping scheming, it was impossible for him to not reveal anything. If it had been Chao Yuliang, Xiao Chun wouldn't have been so sure. But how could he not know what kind of person Chen Jinping was? After following him for so long, how could he not know? He was completely a villain with no shrewdness. Xiao Chun boarded the fishing boat 18 and adjusted the machine. This fishing boat was not much different from the previous speedboat. Xiao Chun also joined a yacht club before, so he was naturally familiar with it. However, this kind of small fishing boat was still very dangerous when going into the sea. It was fine if it encountered a shark, but if it encountered a group of sharks, it would definitely die because this boat was too small to withstand the attack. Duck, duck, duck. The sound of the motor sounded, and Xiao Chun drove the fishing boat into the sea. Chen Jinping also carried Shen Jingxian and followed Xiao Chun into the sea. Cheng Minjing snorted coldly. It's okay. Cousin-in-law can handle it. Jean Beibei said indifferently. Since she discovered a lot of shocking things, she had full confidence in Xiao Chun. If he dies, who will cook for us? Cheng Minjing was a little absent-minded on the surface. Chao Yuliang was trying to make a fire, but he was secretly observing Xiao Chun and Chen Jinping. Seeing that they had successfully entered the sea, a smile flashed across his mouth. Although there might be sharks in the nearby sea, it was not certain that there would be. After all, even if there was a hole in the protective net, a shark would have to be able to get in before the patrolling people found it. Otherwise, the shark would definitely be searched and driven back. Xiao Chun drove the fishing boat into the sea and wandered aimlessly. Although he had not used a fishing gun, the principle of this thing was relatively simple. He just needed to shoot at sharks. With Xiao Chun's current strength, he could easily control it. Moreover, Xiao Chun's sixth senses were powerful, so his accuracy was not worse than those professional fishermen. Chen Jinping leisurely followed behind Xiao Chun. His purpose was not to catch sharks, but to witness Xiao Chun's death. He did not know if the people arranged by Li Shaniying had arrived yet. Although Xiao Chun was going to die, Chen Jinping could not help but belittle him. Jingxian, look at Xiao Chun. He likes to show off. I guess he has never touched a fishing gun before. Now that you want to see it, he shows off. This kind of person is really unreliable. Don't say that about Xiao Chun, who doesn't have a young and aggressive time. Although Shen Jingxian said so, she was very puzzled. That night, when Xiao Chun sent her home, his words and actions did not show any desire for her. So, how could Xiao Chun show off in front of her to fish? It was completely unrealistic. Could it be that Xiao Chun deliberately pretended before to attract her attention? And when he realized that he failed to attract her attention, he started to attract her attention again? Shen Jingxian felt that Xiao Chun should not be so bored. If Shen Jingxian did not have that night's contact, she might think so. But now, Shen Jingxian felt that Xiao Chun did things with a purpose. He would not do things that did not benefit him, and it was impossible for him to take risks for a girl. But Chen Jinping wanted to say that it was not worth it to lose his life because of a young and aggressive time, but he stopped in time. If Shen Jingxian knew the truth, it would be a big deal. She was not one of them, so she could not tell Cheng Minjing. Just as they were talking, Chen Jinping heard the sound of a motor in the distance. He turned his head and couldn't help but be happy. 2 yachts were speeding in this direction. These 2 yachts were driven by Li Shaniying and Lin Chao. Not only was Lin Chao good at racing, but he was also good at racing. Li Shaniying was a martial artist, so he could drive a yacht. But in today's plan, he was only an assistant, and Lin Chao was the executor. These two yachts were modified. They were very sturdy, especially the bow. The balancing ability was also modified. This was a yacht used in the underground racing black market to participate in the underground competition. If it was not sturdy, it would not be able to participate at all. It would have been smashed by others. Both of them were wearing large sunglasses, so from the appearance, they would not be recognized. Moreover, Xiao Chun and Shen Jingxian had not seen Lin Chao and Li Shaniying, so they would not suspect their origin. "Hey buddy, let's have a match," Lin Chao shouted to Xiao Chun from afar. Xiao Chun glanced at the yacht that Lin Chao and Li Shaniying were driving over. He could not help but frown. Where did these two people come from? What are they doing here? This was a dangerous area nearby. Xiao Chun did not believe that these two people did not know. Wasn't it crazy to drive the yacht so far? Not interested. Xiao Chun said faintly. F***ck, you guys are quite arrogant, huh? Lin Chao spat out a swear word sarcastically. Why? Are you looking down on your brother? There is also a little girl here. She is quite pretty. Li Shaniying also came over at this time and said, "Let's have a match? Win 100,000 yuan. Or the little girl can stay." The little girl was naturally Shen Jingxian. Chen Jinping also had the mentality of watching a show at this time. He pretended to be angry and said to Xiao Chun, "Boss Xiao Chun, let's have a match with them. F***ck, how dare they make fun of your goddess? Isn't that your fiancée? Did you give her to me?" Xiao Chun glanced at Chen Jinping and understood in his heart. These two people were most likely sent by Chao Yuliang and Chen Jinping to deal with him. They threw him into the water in this sea in the middle of nowhere. With his previous strength, even if the sharks did not come, there was absolutely no possibility of survival. F***ck, what's wrong? Are you ignoring me? Lin Chao saw that Xiao Chun did not pay attention to him, and suddenly became angry. He came to cause trouble. Of course, he would not let go of this opportunity to cause trouble. He circled the yacht around Xiao Chun's fishing boat, and then scolded. "One sentence, do you want to compete?" Xiao Chun knew that whether he competed or not, the other party would play tricks. It was meaningless. It was better not to compete. He wanted to see what tricks the other party could play, so he said lightly, "I am catching sharks. I don't have time to care about you. If you are willing to compete, look, that guy is more excited than me. Go to him." Xiao Chun pointed in the direction of Chen Jinping and said, "Quite arrogant, huh? You don't want to compete, right?" Lin Chao started the yacht and directly crashed in the direction of Xiao Chun. Although Xiao Chun did not know how to race an underground boat, it was the same as driving. Xiao Chun was already familiar with the operation of the fishing boat. He could do some very precise control, but he was not willing to show it before. Now that Lin Chao rushed over, Xiao Chun instantly calculated the distance and time. He directly turned the bow and dodged it easily. Lin Chao was slightly stunned. He did not expect that not only did Xiao Chun know how to race, but he also drove the yacht very well. This was a bit rare. Generally, these young masters played with cars. Those who played with yachts only knew how to drive. They did not have the movements and reactions of these underground racing boats. However, Xiao Chun's reaction was very fast, which surprised Lin Chao a little. However, he was not worried. Racing in the sea was different from racing on land. Their yacht was professionally modified. Whether it was speed or flexibility, it was higher than Xiao Chun's. If they really competed, he and Li Shaniying attacked Xiao Chun from the front and back. No matter how good Xiao Chun was, he could not escape. The yacht's performance was there. You could not surpass it no matter what. Tuck tuck tuck. Lin Chao swung the tail and changed the direction of the yacht. He rushed toward Xiao Chun again. Xiao Chun still avoided it easily. At this moment Lin Chao was really angry. He no longer played with Xiao Chun. He crashed toward Xiao Chun horizontally. Xiao Chun could easily avoid it, but if he chased from behind vertically, it would be difficult for Xiao Chun to avoid it. You really have some skills? Li Shaniying also started the yacht at this time and chased after Xiao Chun. Seeing this situation, Xiao Chun immediately cried out inwardly. When he was racing, his car was professionally modified. It was not a problem for him to win against Li Shantao. However, in the sea, this fishing boat was not as nimble. Its speed was also slow. He could barely avoid a person chasing after him. But if two people attacked at the same time, he would not be able to handle it. It was not realistic to simply rely on technology to avoid, because the opponent's technology was not bad. The yacht was obviously several times better than Xiao Chen's fishing boat. What should I do? Xiao Chen's mind raced. Previously, he was thinking that Qiao Yuliang had done something to the yacht, but he didn't expect that he would get two people to attack him. Chapter 202. This is Xiao Chen, a descendant of the Xiao family in Songning. I am Chen Jinpeng, a descendant of the Chen family in Songning. How dare you all be so arrogant here? Chen Jinpeng must reveal his identity at the right time, so that it would seem that he didn't know these people. And it was also to help Xiao Chen. Otherwise, he wouldn't be the only one here. Shen Jingxian was also watching. If Shen Jingxian went back and talked nonsense, then Chen Jinpeng would be in trouble. But now it wasn't that Chen Jinpeng didn't care, but he did care. As for whether the other party believed it or not, it wasn't something that Chen Jinpeng could control. It had to be said that at the critical moment, Chen Jinpeng was still very cunning. Even he himself admired his wit a little. Songning Xiao family? Chen family? I haven't heard of it. Lao Er, have you heard of it? Li Shanning turned to look at Lin Chao. No, who knows what kind of small family in a bumpkin place. It has nothing to do with our Golden Bell sect. Lin Chao said. Golden Bell sect? Xiao Chen was slightly stunned. What kind of place is that? It sounds like a sect. Could it be that these two people have some kind of background? However, Xiao Chen didn't quite believe it. Could Qiao Yuliang invite people with some kind of background? I don't care if you are from the Golden Bell sect or the Silver Bell sect. I am a martial artist at the peak of the second stage of inner force. I order you to stop attacking Boss Xiao Chen immediately. Otherwise, I won't be polite. Chen Jinpeng shouted. Idiot! Lin Chao scolded disdainfully and continued to charge at Xiao Chen. Li Shanning also came to help. The two people didn't seem to care about the identity of the Xiao family and the Chen family at all. What should we do, Jingxian? These two aren't afraid, but they seem to be fighting with Boss Xiao Chen. Chen Jinpeng said to Shen Jingxian with a bitter face in order to make it more realistic. Little did he know that he was too clever for his own good. Shen Jingxian knew that Chen Jinpeng plotted to kill Xiao Chen last time, so he should be happy that these people targeted Xiao Chen. How could he still have this expression? Therefore, Shen Jingxian had some doubts about the purpose of these two people. Could it be that they were also invited by Qiao Yuliang and Chen Jinpeng? However, even if Shen Jingxian guessed, she didn't have any evidence. At this moment, she couldn't help Xiao Chen. She could only worry secretly. She took out her phone and wanted to inform Cheng Minjing to send someone over. However, she found that there was no signal at all. It was a blind spot. Shark. Xiao Chen had been looking for the shark for a long time, but the shark didn't appear. He didn't expect that the shark would appear by itself. However, it was hard to say if the shark really appeared on its own, or if the two of them had brought it here. It was obvious that the two of them wanted to overturn his boat and make him fall into the sea. Since the shark had coincidentally appeared, Xiao Chen could not help but be suspicious. Elder Heaven Ancestor, what should I do now? Xiao Chen asked in a hurry. He had never encountered this kind of situation before. This was different from the fight on the land. If he was not careful, he would fall into the sea. What should I do? What else can I do? Fall into the sea and kill the shark, then swim back. Elder Heaven Ancestor said indifferently. Shark? Kill it. Xiao Chen was slightly dazed. With your strength at the peak of level 4 of Qi refining stage, you still can't kill a shark. You are too weak. Elder Heaven Ancestor said. How can I kill it? Even a level 5 inner strength martial artist might not be able to kill it, right? Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. I can't affect the will of a high-level martial artist. But isn't it easy to affect a shark with no IQ? Elder Heaven Ancestor said indifferently. If I make it motionless, can you kill it? This. I can definitely. Xiao Chen was a bit speechless. Don't mention a shark. Even if there was a more ferocious beast there, and made it motionless, Xiao Chen would still be able to kill it easily. At most, he would just have to hit it a few more times. Then that's it, Elder Heaven Ancestor said. What are you worried about? I'm worried. I might not be able to swim, Xiaochen said. You can hold your breath for an hour and you won't die. After you improved your 6 senses in level 2 of Qi refining stage, you can hold your breath for an hour. Elder Heaven Ancestor said with some disappointment. Besides, sharks have low IQ. Are you also low IQ? What is your yuan qi used for? Don't you know that it can be converted into oxygen? Yes, it can be converted. Xiaochen was shocked, but he smiled bitterly. I've only been cultivating for less than a month. Give me some time to adapt. So, you might as well kill that Chen brat by throwing him into the sea. Elder Heaven Ancestor said. His brother died in a car accident. I think it's a good idea to let him die in a boat accident. Xiaochen didn't expect Elder Heaven Ancestor to be so black-bellied. In fact, he didn't know that Elder Heaven Ancestor was also a ruthless person who killed people without blinking an eye. However, Elder Heaven Ancestor's suggestion was good, but Xiaochen was a bit worried. What about Xin Jingxian? Isn't that your goddess? Don't say she isn't, I can read your memory. Elder Heaven Ancestor directly blocked Xiaochen's possibility of replying. Don't you know how to be a hero and save the damsel in distress? Then take her to a small island, and take her down. That Chen brat wore a green hat before he died, so he won't have to worry about not having a green hat anymore. Pfft! Xiaochen realized that Elder Heaven Ancestor was quite sarcastic. Of course, although Xiaochen wasn't as wretched as Elder Heaven Ancestor, he didn't plan to let Chen Jinping go. He couldn't hold on for long. Although he dodged here and there with his powerful boat skills, Xiaochen knew that he couldn't hold on for long. This wasn't something that could be done with human strength. Although he could set up illusions, the location of the illusions was fixed. When the motorboat sailed past the location of the illusions, there wouldn't be any more illusions. Xiaochen couldn't keep setting them up. It wouldn't take long for his vitality to be exhausted. The sea was completely different from land. Even if they rushed into the illusions, they would at most cause a temporary loss, but there wouldn't be any danger to their lives. Damn, there's a shark. Chen Jinping didn't expect that there would really be a shark in the sea, and he was shocked. He was simply here to join in the fun. At this time, Li Shanning and Lin Chao were besieging Xiaochen. If he went to catch the shark now, it would be equivalent to looking for death. Li Shanning and Lin Chao didn't care about Chen Jinping's words, but Xiaochen heard it. A sneer flashed across the corner of his mouth. He had already made a plan in his heart. The shark was obviously very hungry. It couldn't get out of this area of the sea, and it couldn't find the entrance that it came from. However, there wasn't anything that it could eat in the coastal waters, so it was very hungry. Coincidentally, this shark belonged to the group that had some intelligence. When it saw the small boat drifting on the sea, it swam towards the small boat, wanting to overturn the yacht. Chen Jinping was shocked. The other people's yachts were moving, but only his was parked in the middle of the sea, so it naturally became the shark's first target. Therefore, Chen Jinping quickly started the yacht. He didn't dare to go head-on with the shark, but he didn't dare to drive too fast. He could only move slowly to avoid the shark. He was afraid that if he drove too fast, it would affect Lin Chao and Li Shanying's plan to collide with Xiaochen. Jinping, tell them that the shark is here, so stop fooling around. Otherwise, if the boat overturns, no one will benefit. Shen Jingxian said to Chen Jinping. Oh, Chen Jinping responded, but he didn't have time to care about Xiaochen's matter. He was afraid that he would be knocked into the sea, and that would be F***ed. However, what made Chen Jinping a little surprised was that Xiaochen suddenly changed the direction of the fishing boat and rushed towards Chen Jinping. Chen Jinping was shocked and quickly dodged. He cursed in his heart. This Xiaochen, he doesn't want to live anymore, but he still wants to implicate me. What AF** King D** CK. Just as he was about to dodge, he suddenly realized that the direction he was dodging was the direction of the shark that was about to attack him. This made him almost pee in his pants. Just as Chen Jinping didn't know what to do, Xiaochen's yacht suddenly changed direction and went around him. It was just like drifting in a race car. It was very rare to be able to do this. After all, only professional rowers could do it. In the water, it wasn't like on land. The yacht was harder to control than a car. Phew, Chen Jinping breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that with the goddess Xin Jingxian on the boat, Xiao Chen still had to be careful. However, just as Chen Jinping breathed a sigh of relief, he was screwed. Lin Chao was a professional rower. So Xiao Chen went around Chen Jinping. And he also went around Chen Jinping. However, Li Shannying, who was running neck and neck with him, wasn't so lucky. On his left was Lin Chao. He subconsciously wanted to dodge to the right, but he found that there was a shark in front of him. He quickly turned the rudder, but it was too late. So with a loud bang, his yacht directly hit Chen Jinping's fishing boat. Li Shanning's yacht was specially modified with the purpose of killing Xiao Chen. As a result, it hit Chen Jinping's side. Chen Jinping's fishing boat was the same as Xiao Chen's. It wasn't very sturdy, so the result was a tragedy. Chen Jinping's yacht was directly hit and sent flying. After it fell into the water, it flipped over. At the same time, Xiao Chen slowed down to avoid Chen Jinping. So, after Lin Chao caught up, he directly hit Xiao Chen's yacht and sent it flying. Splash! Xiao Chen also fell into the water. Ah, Xin Jingxian screamed. She didn't know how to swim, so she struggled a few times in the sea and was about to sink. Although Chen Jinping knew how to swim, he panicked at this time. When he remembered to save Xin Jingxian, the two of them were already very far away. So, he watched as Xin Jingxian sank into the sea. As for Xiao Chen, although he could float to the surface of the water, he didn't do so. If he fell into the water, he would directly sink. He was afraid that if he surfaced, Lin Chao would hit him again. He would be depressed. When flesh and blood collided with the yacht, it was inevitable that he would be injured. Even if Xiao Chen could recover quickly, he was in the sea. If Chen Jinping took the opportunity to shoot him with a fishing rod, it would be a tragedy. If Chen Jinping died, then so be it. It had nothing to do with Xiao Chen, but Xin Jingxian was innocent. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen quickly swam in the direction where Xin Jingxian fell into the water. Chapter 203. Save me, there are sharks. There are sharks. Although Chen Jinping could swim, the key problem was that there were sharks in the sea. Li Shannying frowned. To be honest, if Chen Jinping died together, it didn't have much to do with him. But when he thought of Chao Yuliang, he also drove the motorboat to Chen Jinping's side and said, "Climb up yourself." Okay. Chen Jinping was a martial artist at the peak of the second stage of internal force. It was easy for him to jump onto the yacht from the sea. He quickly got on the boat and shivered. He suddenly thought of Shen Jingxian and quickly said, "Young Master Li, save Jingxian. She is my fiancée." Save her? Looking at her appearance just now, she obviously doesn't know, right? What if we save her? We obviously wanted to kill you, and now we save you. Do you think she won't suspect anything? Li Shannying said faintly. Ah. Chen Jinping's expression was stagnant. Li Shannying was telling the truth, but he couldn't bear to part with Xin Jingxian. Xin Jingxian was Xiao Chen's goddess. Wasn't she his goddess? Chen Jinping now had a beauty in his arms. He didn't want to die without even holding her hand. I promise that she won't say anything. Save her. Young Master Li. Chen Jinping quickly promised. It's too late. She has sunk to the bottom. There are sharks nearby. Who dares to save her? Do you go alone? Li Shannying asked. Chen Jinping was stunned. Yes, Xin Jingxian has sunk. How can I save her? Unless I go into the water. But there are sharks in the water. Who dares to go down? Thinking of this, Chen Jinping was helpless, but he could only give up. Well, let's go. Get out of here, there are sharks. Actually, even without Chen Jinping's reminder, Li Shannying and Lin Chao had already decided to return. Although their clothes were sturdy and had been professionally modified, it was still unknown who would emerge victorious in a head-on clash with a shark. Therefore, the two yachts disappeared without a trace. Under the water, Xiao Chen opened his eyes. His keen sixth senses did not affect his eyesight underwater at all. He could easily see everything around him clearly underwater. This was the super ability brought about by the second layer of the cultivator stage. He saw Xin Jingxian not far away, and found that Xin Jingshuan's face had turned red. He was shocked and quickly swam over. When Xiao Chen swam to Shen Jingshuan's side, Shen Jingxian could not hold on anymore. Fortunately, she had trained since she was young. Although she could not swim, she could at least hold her breath. She thought that Chen Jinping would come to save her, because she had specially looked at Chen Jinping's information before. This fiancé of hers was once an elite member of the school's swimming team. It should not be a problem for him to save her. However, after waiting for a long time until she was about to see stars, Chen Jinping did not come. Shen Jingxian also understood that Chen Jinping had probably given up on her. Of course, other than being a little disappointed, Shen Jingxian did not feel much sadness. She did not have any feelings for Chen Jinping, so she did not have the hatred of being abandoned by her lover. She was just laughing at herself. This was the marriage between aristocratic families. In the face of disaster, they would go their separate ways. Am I going to die? Shen Jingshuan's mind began to become blank because of the lack of oxygen. She had some regrets. In her short life, every day she lived under the arrangement of her family. She never had anything for herself. Suddenly, Shen Jingxian thought of the first time she lied. That was because of Xiao Chun. That night, Xiao Chun sent her home. Thinking of Xiao Chun, Shen Jingshuan's heart suddenly had a touch of the same feeling. This person is really unfathomable. Shen Jingxian had always thought that Xiao Chun was a playboy like Chao Yuliang. But looking at it now, it did not seem to be the case. He seemed to be obsessed with her to the point of being unable to extricate himself. But he seemed to be able to ignore her to the point of turning a blind eye. What a strange person. Shen Jingxian thought that if she could live again, she would definitely investigate Xiao Chun. What a strange guy. However, the moment she fell into the water, she saw that Xiao Chun was also knocked into the water. Perhaps she could still meet him in the underworld. It was not lonely on the bridge of helplessness. Shen Jingxian was thinking about some messy things in a daze when a pair of strong big hands suddenly hugged her. Then, she bumped into a not considered wide but very strong arm. Shen Jingxian instinctively leaned over, and her forelimbs suddenly grabbed Xiao Chun. In fact, this was the survival will of the person who fell into the water. At this time, if there was something that could be grabbed, she would definitely grab it. Many people were like this. Why did many people who were good at swimming die when they tried to save people who fell into the water? It was because the person who fell into the water directly grabbed him and wrapped him tightly like an octopus, making people who could swim unable to use their skills. Xiao Chun was fine. He could hold his breath underwater, but Shen Jingxian couldn't. Seeing that Shen Jingxian was about to die, Xiao Chun gritted his teeth and didn't care so much. He quickly used his vital energy to transform a mouthful of air, and then directly kissed Shen Jingshuan's lips. In a daze, Shen Jingxian felt as if someone was kissing her. She subconsciously wanted to break free, but then a mouthful of air was sent into her mouth, which made Shen Jingxian suck greedily. The will to survive was greater than everything. This was all out of instinct, but when a few breaths entered her lungs, the stuffiness in her chest suddenly decreased a lot. After a few more breaths, Shen Jingxian gradually returned to normal. His brain was also starting to shine brightly. Shen Jingxian opened her eyes subconsciously. Although it was very uncomfortable to open her eyes underwater, she could only open them and close them immediately. But she still saw who the person in front of her was. Xiao Chun. It was actually Xiao Chun. The shock in Shen Jingshuan's heart was more than the surprise of being saved. She never thought that the person who came to save her was actually Xiao Chun. Moreover, why was there so much air in Xiao Chun's mouth? However, Shen Jingxian wanted to ask, but she didn't dare to speak. Firstly, her mouth was blocked by Xiao Chun's. Secondly, how could she speak underwater? Wouldn't she choke on water? So she could only blink her eyes in confusion. If it was in the past, when Xiao Chun kissed the goddess of his dreams, Shen Jingxian, he would definitely be very excited. But now, Xiao Chun didn't have the mood to fantasize, because the shark was here. The shark was shocked when Li Shanying and Lin Chao's yacht collided with it. The loud noise and the waves made it temporarily hide far away, so it didn't see Xiao Chun and Shen Jingxian. But now that the sea had calmed down, the shark discovered Shen Jingxian and Xiao Chun. Xiao Chun quickly hugged Shen Jingxian and changed her position, so that her back wasn't facing the shark. However, Shen Jingshuan's whole body was hanging on Xiao Chen's body. When Xiao Chen reached out, he inevitably held onto Shen Jingshuan's buttocks. Shen Jingxian suddenly blushed. She opened her eyes to see what Xiao Chen wanted to do, but when she opened her eyes, she saw the shark and was shocked. And she also understood that Xiao Chen didn't want to take advantage of her. But something more dangerous was coming. Xiao Chen transferred air to Shen Jingxian and said to Elder Heaven Ancestor, "Elder Heaven Ancestor, help me control the shark. I'll kill it." "Oh, okay," Elder Heaven Ancestor said calmly. Sure enough, the shark's eyes were dazed, and it foolishly stopped moving motionless. Xiao Chen hugged Shen Jingxian with one hand and swung his other hand into a fist. He directly exploded with the strength of the peak of Qi refining stage level 4, which was equivalent to a level 5 inner force martial artist. Boom! The fist hit the shark's face. However, with Xiao Chen's current strength, it was impossible to kill the shark with one punch, so he simply punched continuously. He didn't believe that he couldn't kill the shark. Xiao Chen's explosive strength was equivalent to the strength of a level 5 inner force martial artist, and it immediately attracted Shen Jingshuan's attention. Although she wasn't even a level 1 inner force martial artist, she was like Cheng Menjing. Since young, she had heard about the martial artist's levels. When she realized that this was the explosive strength of Xiao Chen, she was a little surprised. Xiao Chen, wasn't he a waste? Wasn't he unable to cultivate inner force? How could he have such high strength? Among the younger generation of Songning City, he should be the top existence, right? Such a young genius, did the Cheng family not want him? Even the Xiao family was chased out by him? Shen Jingxian felt that it was really unbelievable. Wasn't this too amazing? Moreover, the shark just let Xiao Chen hit it without moving? This kind of creature, which was like the king of the sea, was actually bullied by Xiao Chen. How was this possible? This was already beyond Shen Jingshuan's understanding. Could it be? The shark was stunned by Xiao Chen, so it didn't move? Thinking about it, this was the only possibility. However, it was Shen Jingshuan's first time hearing and seeing a martial artist who dared to fight a shark with his bare hands underwater. Alright Xiao Chen, the shark is already dead, stop fighting. Elder Heaven Ancestor reminded. Oh, how did you know? Xiao Chen was afraid that the shark was not dead. I can't feel it anymore, and I can't control its will. If it's not dead, then what is? Elder Heaven Ancestor asked. Alright, let's go. You have consumed a lot of your true qi. If you want to die here, then I don't care. Ah, Xiao Chen was suddenly shocked, and then remembered that before Shen Jingxian had transformed the air, and then he struggled to beat the shark, and Elder Heaven Ancestor had used up a lot of his true qi to control the shark. There really wasn't much left. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen quickly grabbed the shark with one hand, and the other hand carried Shen Jingxian, ready to leave here quickly. Where are you going? Elder Heaven Ancestor suddenly asked. Going back to the shore, of course, Xiao Chen said. You can't go back, it's too far. There is an isolated island in front of you on the left. I suggest you go there first to rest and replenish your true qi. Otherwise, you will definitely die in the sea. Elder Heaven Ancestor immediately reminded Xiao Chen. Chapter 204. Ah, Xiao Chen was stunned. I can't go back. How far is that isolated island? Not far. You just have to swim 45 degrees to the left, and you will reach it. Elder Heaven Ancestor said. How do you know? Xiao Chen didn't see any isolated island when he was driving the yacht. Oh, I just used your divine sense and spiritual power to explore it. I used up all your primordial qi. Otherwise you could still swim back. Elder Heaven Ancestor said. Puffed. Xiao Chen was speechless. Did the Elder Heaven Ancestor do it on purpose? If there was no isolated island, wouldn't I be dead? You won't die. You can practice underwater. But your goddess is in danger. Elder Heaven Ancestor said. Of course, she has nothing to do with me. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. Then, he started to swim to the right at a 45-degree angle. Since it was already like this, what else could he say? It was the first time that Shen Jingxian was so intimate with a boy. Not only was she being hugged, but the key was, Their lips were tightly pressed together, although it was similar to artificial respiration, and it was a life-saving move. Shen Jingxian still had a strange feeling in her heart. She couldn't see Xiao Chen clearly. She couldn't believe that the person in front of her was Xiao Chen. Could it be that Xiao Chen had always been so powerful, and he was just hiding his strength before? Other than that, Shen Jingxian really couldn't think of any other possibilities. Xiao Chen's level 5 inner force couldn't be practiced overnight. He must have been through strict training and hard work since he was young. However, the Xiao clan shouldn't be in the dark about this. What was going on? Could it be that the Cheng family and the Xiao family actually knew, but they saw that Xiao Chen and Cheng Minjing didn't see eye to eye, so they deliberately played such a show? The purpose was to let Xiao Chen, the servant, have more contact with Cheng Minjing and cultivate feelings? Then was he the culprit behind all of this? If Xiao Chen didn't like me, he wouldn't have done this. He would have been with Cheng Minjing. But I am so intimate with him now. In the future, how can I face Cheng Minjing? Xiao Chen estimated that Chen Jinpeng and the others would not come back, so he popped his head out of the sea. To be honest, the continuous air conversion for Shen Jingxian consumed a lot of yuan qi. Xiao Chen didn't want to exhaust his yuan qi before he swam to the island. Elder Heaven Ancestor could ignore Shen Jingxian, but Xiao Chen couldn't. Xiao Chen was the first girl who made him very interested and fascinated. Although Xiao Chen never thought that he could get intimate with her one day, he did it now. However, Xiao Chen wouldn't put both of them in danger because of greed. In the face of life and death, he was still a reasonable person. Xiao Chen floated to the surface of the water and observed his surroundings. He heaved a sigh of relief when he discovered that there was indeed no danger. However, as for the fishing boat, it had disappeared without a trace. Even if it didn't disappear, it couldn't be used anymore. It had been smashed. After the investigation, Xiao Chen suddenly remembered that his lips were still touching Shen Jingshuan's lips. He awkwardly leaned back and separated from Shen Jingxian. Shen Jingxian was shocked. She suddenly remembered that they were already out of the water, but she didn't take the initiative to move her lips away. This made her blush, and she was very embarrassed. Just now when they were underwater, she had no choice. She needed air to breathe, but now that they were out of the sea, she was still like this. Do I like this feeling? It seems. The feeling just now is really good. Shen Jingxian shook her head. What am I thinking about? I have already let Cheng Minjing down. Why am I still thinking about these things? Shen Jingxian firmly believed that Xiao Chen was driven out of the family to become Cheng Minjing's servant. It was a trap set up by the Xiao family and the Cheng family. The purpose was to make it easier for Xiao Chen to get close to Cheng Minjing. Because there was a very popular TV series Campus Belle's Bodyguard recently, there was a similar plot, so Shen Jingxian naturally thought of this. However, she neglected that this was her first kiss, and it was gone just like that. I'm sorry, Goddess Jingxian. I had no choice just now. I was also trying to save you. Xiao Chen saw that Shen Jingshuan's eyes were a little dazed. He thought that she was going to cry or go crazy, so he quickly explained. Oh. Shen Jingxian listened to Xiao Chen's explanation, but she didn't blame him. She just looked at him with some reproach. I know, but it's not good for us to do this. We are going to die. What's there to not be good for? Xiao Chen grinned. And Chen Jinping was willing to be a cuckold. That was what he said himself. Ugh. I hate him. I didn't marry him. Shen Jingxian shook her head. Why is there so much air in your mouth? Oh, I have practiced. Xiao Chen said. You don't know how much pressure it is to be a useless young master. I have been worried about being assassinated since I was young, so I have to practice all kinds of survival skills. If a martial artist with level 5 inner energy is useless, then can there still be geniuses in the aristocratic families in Songning City? Shen Jingxian flattened her mouth. You are really good at lying. Sweat. Xiao Chen suddenly remembered that Shen Jingxian saw him fighting the shark in the water previously. He couldn't help but sigh. Zhu Yingxiong knew his strength, and Xiao Chen trusted him very much. Other than that, no one knew that Xiao Chen had such strength and wasn't a useless person. Shen Jingxian was the second. This made Xiao Chen a little embarrassed. To be honest, his relationship with Shen Jingxian wasn't particularly close. At that time, he pursued Shen Jingxian all day. Perhaps Shen Jingxian was annoyed enough? Therefore, the relationship between the two was only passable. This was after he sent Shen Jingxian home. If it were another person, Xiao Chen might have killed them, but he really couldn't do it to Shen Jingxian. You will keep it a secret for me, right? Not knowing why, Shen Jingxian heard Xiao Chen's somewhat helpless tone. Her heart shivered. If not, will you kill me to keep it a secret? Xiao Chen took a deep breath and looked at Shen Jingxian. A trace of helplessness flashed in his eyes. No, you are the girl I used to like very, very much. Xiao Chen's words instantly touched the softness in Shen Jingxuan's heart. She fell into Xiao Chen's arms powerlessly and asked, Then what about now? There is no now. Xiao Chen sighed and said faintly, This assumption is a bit far. It was impossible for me and you before. Now, it is even more impossible, so I'd better be realistic. Shen Jingxian didn't know why, but after hearing Xiao Chen's words, she suddenly felt very uncomfortable in her heart. She had an urge to cry. Not knowing where the courage came from, Shen Jingxuan's body suddenly sank down. Previously, Xiao Chen had been holding Shen Jingxuan's buttocks, but that was because they were swimming rapidly in the water. He was afraid that Shen Jingxian would fall off him, but now that they were floating on the water, it was safe. Xiao Chen couldn't keep taking advantage of Shen Jingxian, not to mention that Shen Jingxian was still hanging on him, so he didn't pay attention. However, now that Shen Jingxian let go, she fell down. Xiao Chen was shocked and quickly sank into the water again. Because he was still holding a shark, Xiao Chen's speed was not slow, but he still fell more than 10 meters before he caught up with Shen Jingxian and grabbed her. Shen Jingxuan's face at the moment was also a bit ugly, as if she was out of oxygen. As soon as Xiao Chen grabbed her, Shen Jingxuan's body naturally leaned over and fell into Xiao Chen's arms. Her lips also naturally stuck to Xiao Chen's mouth. Xiao Chen was a little dumbfounded. What is this situation? Shen Jingxian was fine. How did she sink into the sea again? Could it be that she grabbed me too hard before, and when she floated to the water, she lost her strength and fell down again? Thinking about it, there was only this possibility. Other than that, Xiao Chen couldn't think of anything else. Xiao Chen quickly began to use his primordial qi to transform the air into Shen Jingxuan's mouth. Shen Jingxuan's face slowly improved. She opened her eyes and looked at Xiao Chen. Her eyes were a little blurred. At this moment, Shen Jingxuan's heart was beating fast. Although Xiao Chen also felt it, he thought that Shen Jingxuan's heart was beating faster because she fell into the sea. In fact, Shen Jingxuan's heart was really confused. Is this the feeling of liking someone? Shen Jingxian didn't know. Since she was born, she had always been a good girl. Her heart was as still as water. She had never liked any boy, nor had she paid attention to anyone. She was also resigned to her family's engagement, because she didn't know what love was, and she didn't have anyone she liked. Therefore, she naturally wouldn't fight against the arrangement of her family. But now, Shen Jingxian suddenly found that she fell in love with Xiao Chen's embrace. Sometimes, in just an instant, one's impression and perception of a person could undergo earth-shattering changes. In the past, whatever Xiao Chen said, although she would listen patiently and smile at him, she had never taken it to heart. Now a casual sentence from Xiao Chen could make her heart ache, and make a move that made her feel very irrational and surprised. However, after Shen Jingxuan's impulse, she also regained her rationality. In her eyes, Xiao Chen and Cheng Minjing were a couple, and Cheng Minjing was her best friend. How could she do something that would let Cheng Minjing down? When Xiao Chen brought Shen Jingxian to the surface of the water, Shen Jingxuan's mood also recovered its previous calmness. Although she was a little reluctant in her heart, she still pretended that nothing had happened. She shook her head, leaned back, and separated from Xiao Chen's lips. Chapter 205. Jingxian, what's wrong with you? Xiao Chen saw that Shen Jingxian had returned to normal and asked quickly. Nothing. My leg suddenly cramped just now, and I was a little weak. I didn't hold you for a while, and I fell. Shen Jingxian smiled slightly and shook her head. She returned to her usual sunny self. You didn't hold me tightly. I'm going to die. When I go back, I will complain to your hostess that you murdered her best friend. Sweat, you are dead. How can I complain? Xiaochen couldn't help but smile bitterly after listening. Didn't I save you? Hold me. I didn't say that you took advantage of me. I know you did it to save me. I'm not that unreasonable. Shen Jingxian said to Xiaochen. I won't talk nonsense to Qing Minjing, including everything about you. Is Shen Jingshuan's words a hint? She wants to tell Xiaochen that she won't say anything about him. N. Chen Jinping's matter. What do you think? Xiaochen nodded, held Shen Jingshuan's buttocks with his hand, and swam forward with her. Chen Jinping? Shen Jingxian was slightly stunned. Don't tell me that you didn't see that he was the one who found those two people. Xiaochen said. He also couldn't bear to see his former goddess marry a scumbag. Especially after he had intimate contact with Shen Jingxian. Xiaochen was even more unwilling. This kind of mentality was very strange. It seemed that Shen Jingxian had become Xiaochen's private property. N. Shen Jingxian responded. I know, but what can I do? I don't have any evidence. I can only find a chance to tell my family to cancel this marriage. Xiaochen nodded. Shen Jingxian was right. She had no evidence. Moreover, Xiaochen didn't intend to fall out with Chao Yuliang and Chen Jinping for the time being. Once they fell out, Chao Yuliang would be desperate. If the masters of the Chao family jumped out to kill him, then Xiaochen would be a fool. He was still very rational. He didn't do anything impulsive because of the skyrocketing strength. Now Chao Yuliang was maintaining a balance because of the Jin family. But once Chao Yuliang knew that he had suspected him, then Chao Yuliang would definitely take the risk. So from this point of view, Shen Jingshuan's approach was right. Then don't mention this matter again. However, the matter of breaking off the engagement can be postponed. Or, you can help me be an undercover and see how Chen Jinping and Chao Yuliang will deal with me next time. Xiaochen thought about it and suggested, Are you willing to do that? Shen Jingxian blurted out subconsciously. N. Xiaochen was stunned. I mean, am I not your goddess? Will you be happy when you see me with someone else? Shen Jingxian explained euphemistically. My life is gone. Why should I be happy? Xiaochen smiled self-deprecatingly and said, Moreover, you and Chen Jinping are together. He doesn't dare to do anything to you, but it's nothing. I just said it casually. You should break off the engagement first. It will take some time to break off the engagement. It can't be broken off immediately. Shen Jingxian listened to Xiaochen, and her heart suddenly felt much better. After we go back, pretend that nothing happened. If they ask how we were rescued, just say that a sea patrol ship passed by here. Xiaochen said. Oh, Shen Jingxian responded. She didn't seem to be particularly happy. You can rest assured that I won't say anything to get you into trouble. Xiaochen was slightly stunned. What he meant was that he would not say anything about him profaning Shen Jingxian. After all, if something happened between him and a goddess like Shen Jingxian, it would be quite a hot topic. If he bragged about it to other childs, others would definitely be jealous and hate him. Xiaochen was not that kind of person. Although he used to pretend to be such a person, he had changed now. He disguised himself as Jin Beibei. It was more practical to cheat money out of others. However, what Xiaochen didn't expect was that Shen Jingxian actually said that she wouldn't say anything, because she was afraid of getting him into trouble. But what trouble could he get into? Xiaochen thought that Shen Jingxian just said it casually, so he didn't pay much attention to it. Not long after, Xiaochen saw a deserted island not far away. It was right in front of him, but in reality, it was just an illusion. There was still some distance between them. Weren't you swimming toward the shore? Shen Jingxian also saw the island, and was a little surprised. She had always thought that Xiaochen was swimming toward the shore. After all, it was easy to get lost in the sea. Shen Jingxian had never learned how to survive in the wild, so she naturally couldn't judge the direction. How the hell would I know where the shore is? Xiaochen naturally wouldn't admit that he knew about the deserted island. Firstly, Shen Jingxian would ask him how he knew. Secondly, it wouldn't be good if Shen Jingxian thought that he deliberately came to the deserted island with ulterior motives. After all, it was hard for Xiaochen to explain the primordial qi and the elder heaven ancestor. Don't curse. Shen Jingxian said to Xiao Chun. Then we are lucky to encounter a small island. Otherwise, I don't know how long we would have to drift. Yeah, no matter what, let's have a foothold first, and then think of other ways. Xiao Chun nodded and accelerated his swimming speed. Finally, after half an hour, Xiao Chun approached the shore of the island. However, the island on this side was surrounded by rocks. There was no beach. It was easy for Xiao Chun to go ashore, but it was difficult for Shen Jingxian. Can you go up? Asked Xiao Chun. I'll try. Shen Jingxian hesitated, but she tried to touch the rocky cliff on the shore with her hand. It was very smooth from the impact of the sea, so there was no point of force at all. No, I can't hold it. Why don't you go up first, and then pull me up? I can still hold on for a while. I still have a shark in my hand. Xiao Chun couldn't help but smile bitterly. He let Shen Jingxian go ashore first, and then he could drag the shark up. If Shen Jingxian stayed below, who would help him look after the shark? Shark. This made Shen Jingxian a little stunned. She didn't notice that there was a shark at all. Her attention was on Xiao Chun. As a result, when she arrived at the island, she turned around and saw that there was a shark in Xiao Chun's hand. She was stunned. You have been swimming with this shark? Oh my god. Shen Jingshuan's eyes widened. Xiao Chun, how many people have you deceived before? You are not an ordinary stage 5 inner force martial artist. Shen Jingxian was right. There was only inner force in the martial artist's body. There was no such thing as true energy or vitality that could be stimulated for a long time. Although the explosive power of the inner force was strong, it couldn't last for so long. Xiao Chun, unless it was a martial artist of a higher level. The higher the martial artist's level, the stronger the endurance. And there is a little difference. It's good that you know. Xiao Chun said. Let's not study my problem first. Let's see how you go up first. Why don't you carry me up? Shen Jingxian thought about it and said. That's the only way. Don't say that I'm taking advantage of you, said Xiao Chun. Didn't you take advantage of me along the way? Shen Jingxian looked at Xiao Chun with a reproachful look. Well, it's a critical moment. I understand. The first half of Shen Jingshuan's sentence made Xiao Chun's heart tremble slightly. He thought that Shen Jingxian was a little interested in him, but the latter half of the sentence was normal. Xiao Chun didn't think much about it. He took a deep breath, held Shen Jingshuan's buttocks and lifted her out of the sea. You step on my shoulder. It's okay. Okay. Shen Jingxian nodded. She was wearing a skirt. If she stepped on Xiao Chun's shoulder, she would definitely be exposed. But thinking about it, the skirt often flipped up in the water. She would have been exposed long ago. Being lifted by Xiao Chun, Shen Jingxian was surprised at Xiao Chun's arm strength. She also had a strange feeling in her heart, which made her breathing slightly rapid. Shen Jingxian quickly calmed her mood, carefully stretched out her foot, and stepped on Xiao Chun's shoulder. Her other foot also stepped on him. Shen Jingxian carefully stood on Xiao Chun's shoulder and wanted to straighten up, but at this time a wave hit. Shen Jingxian was unstable. Her feet slipped, and her body sank. She directly rode on Xiao Chun's neck. Moreover, she and Xiao Chun were facing each other. Xiao Chun's back was against the reef of the island, and Shen Jingxian was facing the island. Therefore, Shen Jingshuan's skirt was directly buckled on Xiao Chun's head, and her small abdomen was directly aimed at the side of Xiao Chun's mouth. Shen Jingxian was dumbfounded. Xiao Chun was also dumbfounded. Was this the legendary difficult ride? Yin Ai? Shen Jingxian subconsciously wanted to break free, but when she twisted her body, she rubbed against Xiao Chun's mouth. A strange feeling made Shen Jingshuan's whole body feel like it was paralyzed, and she couldn't move. Although it was the salty taste of the sea that entered his mouth, Xiao Chun's heart was extremely excited. F***CK, who would believe this if I told others? However, Xiao Chun also knew that Shen Jingxian didn't mean it. It was completely accidental. If he took advantage of the situation to do something, Shen Jingxian might grit her teeth and admit it. But Xiao Chun wasn't such a shameless person. Especially Shen Jingxian, who used to be like a goddess in his heart. He could only look at her from afar, and not play with her. Phew! Xiao Chun stretched out his hand, and held Shen Jingxian again. He lifted her high and said, Are you okay just now? Be more careful this time, okay? Originally, Shin Jingxian was also quite embarrassed, but when she heard that there was nothing strange in Xiao Chen's words, she breathed a sigh of relief and said, I'm sorry I slipped. I didn't hit you, right? No, Xiao Chen said with a smile. Then he added, however, I don't mind doing it again. You're so annoying. Shin Jingshuan's feet trembled. She almost did it again, but did she really want to do it again? The feeling of her heart racing just now made Shin Jingxian feel nostalgic. Chapter 206. However, Shin Jingshuan's reason told her that she couldn't do this. She felt that she must be out of her mind. How could she have such an unhealthy thought? Why was Xiao Chen? If Cheng Minjing knew about it, what would happen in the future? Could they still be best friends? Shin Jingxian was a little worried for a while. She had never had such a feeling for any boy. Her impression of Xiao Chen was not particularly good. Even if it changed, it didn't change much. However, what happened today had completely overturned Shin Jingshuan's understanding of Xiao Chen. She had never imagined that an ignorant and incompetent good-for-nothing hedonistic young master would have such a shocking side. She also never thought that she would be moved by him. This feeling was very strange. Shin Jingxian didn't know if she fell in love with Xiao Chen, but at least she was a little regretful. Why didn't she say yes to Xiao Chen when he pursued her? However, she just thought about it. At that time, Xiao Chen was also Cheng Minjing's fiancé. What was the matter if she got involved? Could she tell the Shin family that Cheng Minjing and the Cheng family were together with Xiao Chen? This kind of thing was not impossible at the level of aristocratic families. But the Xiao family in Songning was not qualified. The Shin family could marry any aristocratic family in Songning, which was already considered as marrying down. It was simply a fantasy to serve one husband together. Shin Jingxian shook her head. She gritted her teeth, held the edge of the reef with both hands, and got on the island. Although she had not yet set foot in the ranks of warriors, she was born in an aristocratic family. Women in aristocratic families generally received training from warriors at a young age, but there was no requirement for strength. However, she was still better than ordinary people. The moment she jumped up, Shin Jingxian was exposed. Xiao Chen happened to raise his head to look at Shin Jingxian. He was also afraid that she would fall down again. Xiao Chen was ready to be taken advantage of again. However, he saw a beautiful spring. His thin underwear was soaked in seawater. Not only did it stick tightly to his body, but it also became vaguely transparent. Xiao Chen was a cultivator with a powerful 6 senses, so he could see as clearly as he could. Thus, Xiao Chen shamefully had another reaction. Flirting with his goddess had always been Xiao Chen's dream. But when this dream came true, Xiao Chen had a headache. How should he deal with his relationship with Shin Jingxian in the future? Will Shin Jingxian hate me even more after she calms down? Shin Jingxian climbed ashore and said to Xiao Chen, Alright, you should come up too. The seawater is too cold. I can't stand it. I'll wait for a while. If Xiao Chen went up now, and his body's reaction was seen by Shin Jingxian, it would be embarrassing. Wait for a while. Why? Give me your hand. I'll pull you up. The seawater is very cold. Shin Jingxian was a little confused. Don't catch a cold. What if you get sick on this deserted island? Xiao Chen couldn't express himself. Hurry up. Shin Jingxian reached out her hand. I'll come up myself. Xiao Chen couldn't let the goddess wait for him. He grabbed the shark's tail with both hands and swung it ashore. The shark was thrown onto the island by him. Then, Xiao Chen kicked off the water with both of his feet. He pushed against the cliff with both of his hands, and flew up to the island. As a result, Xiao Chen's adverse reaction was seen by Shin Jingxian. Shin Jingxian immediately understood why Xiao Chen was so shy before. She couldn't help but blush. She couldn't help but feel a little happy in her heart. Xiao Chen still likes me. Shin Jingxian didn't know why she was happy. If there was such a guy who acted like a hooligan in front of her in the past, she would have turned around and left. But when she saw Xiao Chen, she was very concerned. Are you cold? The wind is strong here. Let's find a place to hide from the wind and dry our clothes. And it's almost evening. Let's find a place to settle down first. I'll go get some firewood and food, Xiao Chen said to Shin Jingxian. These were things that Shen Jingxian neglected, but Xiao Chen didn't forget. This made Shen Jingxian suddenly have a very satisfying feeling of dependence. She felt that as long as she was with Xiao Chen on this island, she wouldn't be afraid of anything. The deserted island wasn't very big. There were a few caves on the cliff, but some had been occupied by seabirds. Only one was slightly cleaner. Xiao Chen walked in and checked. After he found that there was no danger, he let Shen Jingxian come in. Jingxian, wait for me here. I'll be back soon. Then I'll wait for you here. Shen Jingxian was really tired. She sat on the ground and hugged her legs. She looked at Xiao Chen's side profile with the light of the setting sun. He was very determined and handsome. This was a very stylish guy. Of course, Shen Jingxian didn't notice this before. Sometimes one's mentality would affect one's vision. One would like what they liked and dislike what they didn't like. At this moment, Shen Jingxian was like a primitive woman waiting for her husband to go hunting. She looked forward to it, missed it, and felt a little happy. Xiao Chen nodded. He didn't notice Shen Jingxuan's mood. He just wanted to get through this night and restore his strength. Tomorrow he would take Shen Jingxian to swim back. The area of the island wasn't very big. Xiao Chen walked around and found that there were only coconut trees and an unknown tree. However, the other tree didn't have any fruit. Xiao Chen didn't care what tree it was. Xiao Chen first climbed up the coconut tree and plucked some coconuts. Then, he picked up some withered branches that had fallen from the trees nearby. After that, he returned to the cave and handed the coconuts to Shen Jingxian. After hesitating for a moment, Xiao Chen still injected a trace of yuan qi into the coconut. After Xiao Chen injected yuan qi into the food, it was not only delicious, but it also had a trace of immortal fruit effect. Even if Shen Jingxian didn't cultivate, it was still good for replenishing her strength. Jingxian, you eat a little first. I'll start a fire. Dry your clothes. Xiao Chen said. I'll go to the beach to deal with the shark meat. I'll roast a few pieces for you to eat to replenish your strength. There's no need to trouble yourself, right? Shen Jingxian took the coconut. She didn't eat it immediately. Instead, she said to Xiao Chen, it's very late. I can't eat too much. However, as soon as she finished speaking, Shen Jingxuan's stomach began to growl. After being tossed around for almost a day, Shen Jingxian only had breakfast in the morning. It was almost dark. I'll be back soon. Xiao Chen smiled and started a fire. Drilling wood to start a fire was too weak. Xiao Chen didn't have the patience to do that. He took advantage of Shen Jingxuan's inattention and used yuan qi to turn it into a flame and ignited the branches. How did you light the fire? Shen Jingxian was just wandering around and saw that Xiao Chen had already lit the fire. Lighter, Xiao Chen said casually, and then stood up. He was afraid that Shen Jingxian would ask more. So he turned around and left the cave. I'm going to deal with the shark. It was the first time for Xiao Chen to deal with the shark, but Xiao Chen didn't study it much. Near the reef by the sea, he punched it and smashed the rock into a few pieces. He randomly found a sharp one and began to cut off a piece of meat from the shark. Then he returned to the cave again. Shen Jingxian sat beside the fire, but she didn't eat the coconut. When she saw Xiao Chen coming back, she was immediately happy. Xiao Chen, you're back. Xiao Chen nodded and saw that there were still coconuts on the ground. He asked curiously, why aren't you eating? I'll wait for you to eat together. It's not good for me to eat alone while you're busy. Shen Jingxian shook her head. I'll help you open it. Xiao Chen picked up a coconut and pierced a hole with a sharp rock. He handed it to Shen Jingxian and said, drink the coconut juice first, then open it and eat the flesh. Then do you eat it too? Shen Jingxian hesitated and said, I'll roast the meat first. Xiao Chen waved his hand and put the shark meat on the fire with a thick branch and roasted it. There was no seasoning at sea, but Xiao Chen injected a trace of primordial energy. With the salty taste of the seawater, it should be delicious. Shen Jingxian picked up the coconut and carefully drank the coconut juice inside. She suddenly felt that it was delicious. This was the best coconut juice she had ever drunk since she was a child. She had drunk fresh coconut juice before, but it wasn't as good as this. Was it because she was thirsty? Shen Jingxian drank the coconut juice in one gulp. But she still wanted more. She wanted to open the coconut shell, but the coconut shell was too hard. She couldn't open it even after peeling twice. Xiaochen kept looking at Shen Jingxian from the corner of his eyes, so he reached out and said, "Come, I'll help you open it." Shen Jingxian gave the coconut shell to Xiaochen with some embarrassment. Xiaochen easily broke the coconut shell into 2 halves, and then handed one half to Shen Jingxian. He put the other half in his mouth and chewed on it. Xiaochen was also hungry. Although he was a cultivator, he was far from the point where he didn't need to eat. Shen Jingxian saw that Xiaochen was also eating. She was slightly surprised. That was the coconut that she had drunk from. Xiaochen ate it just like that. Wasn't it equivalent to the two of them kissing indirectly? Thinking of this, Shen Jingxian was a little shy, but she suddenly remembered what happened in the sea. The real kiss had been accepted, so what if it was indirect? So, Shen Jingxian took half of the coconut and learned to eat it like Xiaochen. The coconut meat was soft and delicious. Shen Jingxian quickly ate it, but she found that Xiaochen hadn't finished eating yet. She suddenly felt embarrassed. Wait, the roasted shark is almost ready. Xiaochen didn't feel anything. He ate a little slower, because he was roasting the shark meat. He quickly finished the remaining coconut meat, picked up another coconut, smashed it, and handed it to Shen Jingxian. "I have enough. You should drink some too." Shen Jingxian said, "It's delicious." "Oh, there's a lot." Xiaochen put it next to Shen Jingxian, picked up another coconut, smashed it and said, "If it's not enough, I'll pick more. There's nothing else on this island, but there are plenty of coconuts." Chapter 207. The shark meat was quickly roasted and exuded a very tempting meat fragrance. Xiaochen used a stone to cut off a circle of roasted shark meat. He placed it on a clean coconut leaf and handed it to Shen Jingxian. "Okay, you can eat. You eat too." Although Shen Jingxian was drooling, she still wanted to act like a lady in front of Xiaochen. "I'll eat later." Xiaochen said, "There's nothing on this island. I can only make these for you. You can come to the villa to play with Miss one day. I'll make you something I'm good at." Xiaochen just said it casually. It was unknown if Goddess Jingxian would come, but what Xiaochen didn't expect was that Shen Jingxian actually said, "Okay." Shark meat was actually not very delicious. Otherwise, why would many fishermen just cut off the shark's fins and throw the shark back into the sea? Obviously, it was because shark meat could not be sold at a good price. However, this was also a kind of waste and cruelty. It was practical to catch sharks, but if the shark's fins were cut off and thrown back, the shark could only fend for itself in the sea. Of course, whether shark meat was delicious or not depended on the person who cooked it. The shark meat that was injected with primordial energy by Xiaochen was quite delicious. Shen Jingxian took a small bite and was immediately surprised. Shark meat was delicious. It was crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. It was not that she had never eaten shark meat before, but the meat was very rough, and the taste was very bad. It was completely different from the taste she was eating now. Why are the coconut and shark meat so delicious today? Could it be that I'm too hungry? For some reason, a sentence suddenly appeared in Shen Jingxian's mind. "Everything is delicious when I'm with you. It doesn't matter what I eat. It matters who I eat with." Xiaochen didn't know that Shen Jingxian had so many thoughts. The shark meat and coconut were injected with primordial energy. How could they not be delicious? Soon, the remaining shark meat was roasted. Xiaochen and Shen Jingxian sat in front of each other and had a picnic. It was a unique flavor. Chen Jinping was sent back by Lin Chao and Li Shanying, but they didn't send him to the shore. He swam back the remaining distance by himself. Cheng Minjing and Jin Beibei were quite anxious on the shore. Xiaochen and his companions had been gone for more than half a day, and still hadn't come back by dusk. Cheng Minjing was a bit anxious. Even Jin Beibei, who had always been confident, was a bit worried. In her eyes, although Xiaochen was very powerful, the sea was full of dangers and unknowns, and he still hadn't returned after so long. He tried calling her a few times, but the call did not go through. Clearly, there was no signal in the sea. Finally, he saw Chen Jinping coming back, but he was swimming. He couldn't help but feel a little strange. "Hey little shed, where's my cousin-in-law?" Jean Bebe ran over and asked. "Oh no, we met a shark on the sea, and the boat was overturned. Xiao Chun and Jingxian both fell into the sea. We were separated from each other. I finally swam back," Chen Jinping said with a sad face. "What should we do? What should we do? Let's ask the warrior guild for help, shall we?" Cheng Minjing's face turned pale immediately. Xiao Chun and Shen Jingxian both fell into the sea? And they met a shark? Cheng Minjing didn't know whether Xiao Chun could swim or not, but she was sure that Shen Jingxian couldn't. Thinking that Shen Jingxian and Xiao Chun might have already been eaten by the fish, Cheng Minjing's heart felt as if it had been ruthlessly smashed by a hammer. All the strength in her body was drained, and she directly went limp on the beach. Jean Bebe was also dumbfounded. She didn't expect that her cousin-in-law, whom she had always thought was awesome, also fell into the sea. What should we do? According to the time when Chen Jinping came back from swimming, Xiao Chun and Shen Jingxian had been in the sea for a long time. Could they still be saved? Even if the people of the Warrior Guild helped them, it was absolutely impossible for them to survive. Neither of them was a warrior. Facing a shark, they had no chance to fight back at all. "Minjing, I'm sorry for your loss. This is a natural disaster, which is beyond our control." Chao Yuliang was a little confused. Why did Chen Jinping kill Shen Jingxian and come back from swimming? However, it was not appropriate for him to ask her face to face, so he came over and comforted her. How could this happen? Cheng Minjing was a little absent-minded. Thinking of Xiao Chun and Shen Jingxian, she felt very sad. Both of them were very important to her, but they lost them at this moment. Thinking of Xiao Chun, although this fiancé had never fulfilled his duty as a fiancé, during the days when she lived with him, Xiao Chun gave Cheng Minjing a strange feeling. This person was not so bad or annoying. Cheng Minjing felt that she got along well with Xiao Chun. She couldn't accept losing him like this. She had been used to the days when Xiao Chun was in the villa, and Xiao Chun as a servant. "Cousin Minjing, don't worry. Don't give up. I don't think there will be a problem with my cousin-in-law." Jean Bebe suddenly remembered that the gas tank of the car was out of gas. She was immediately filled with hope again. "My cousin-in-law is a transformer. Chances are that he can turn into a fishing boat. Not only can he catch whales, he can also bring Sister Jingxian back." Chao Yuliang immediately felt like laughing. Jean Bebe's theory was too hilarious. Xiao Chun could turn into a fishing boat? Was he dreaming about the solar system? Besides, Xiao Chun was a piece of garbage. Not to mention that he could not swim. Even if he could not swim back. "Yes, I know Xiao Chun. He likes Shen Jingxian. Chances are that he will do anything when he loses his temper in front of the goddess." Chao Yuliang said so on the surface despite his scorn in his heart. "Wrong. He is trying to catch sharks for Bebe to eat." Jean Bebe, however, said, "All right, Bebe, that's enough. Would they have been in danger if you hadn't wanted to eat sharks?" Cheng Minjing waved her hands, indicating that Jean Bebe should stop talking. "Let's call the Shen family and the Xiao family first." "I'll call the Xiao family. Chen Jinping, you call the Shen family." "All right." Chen Jinping sighed and was about to make the call. "Let's not call them yet, shall we? It's not a good idea to call them when everything is not confirmed yet, is it?" Chao Yuliang was afraid that the incident would spread out, and he and Chen Jinping would be exposed. After the incident was over, and the dead could not testify, and the evidence was gone, it would be fine to inform the Shen family and the Xiao family by then. Then let's wait a little longer. Chen Jinping nodded hurriedly. He listened to Chao Yuliang, and Chao Yuliang must have a point. Then, all right. Cheng Minjing was actually somewhat hopeful, hoping that Xiao Chun and Shen Jingxian would be fine. Because of the incident, they were all silent. Chao Yuliang made a fire and roasted some barbecue that he had brought. Cheng Minjing and Jean Bebe ate a little and went to rest in the tent. Chao Yuliang finally had a chance to be alone with Chen Jinping. After returning to their tent, Chao Yuliang asked with a frown, "What happened? How did things turn out like this? Did Shen Jingxian die too?" "Brother Liang, there was an accident. Here's what happened. As he spoke, Chen Jinping told Xiao Yuliang about the situation at that time. I see. The shark appeared at the right time. Xiao Yuliang frowned. But according to what you said, Xiao Chen didn't mean to hurt you. He likes Shen Jingxian, so it's impossible for him to kill Shen Jingxian. It's all because of Li Shaniying's poor skills. But now they probably can't survive. We'd better think about how to explain this matter. It's easy to explain. Li Shaniying and Lin Chao have run away. We just need to keep our mouths shut, Chen Jinping said. As long as you don't talk nonsense here, Xiao Yuliang said. But Shen Jingxian is dead. Your family will probably have some conflicts with the Shen family. You have to be prepared in advance. Although it's not your fault, you'll be a problem if you're alive. What should I do? Chen Jinping thought about it carefully. It was true. He killed the Shen family's Shen Jingxian, but he was fine. How could the Shen family not blame him? Even if they didn't blame Chen Jinping, they would vent their anger on him, right? This made Chen Jinping think of the conflict between the Xiao family and the Cheng family. Wasn't it the same for Xiao Chen's father, Xiao Feng, and Cheng Minjing's uncle Cheng Zhongfan? The Cheng family vented their anger on the Xiao family. Thinking of this, Chen Jinping was very nervous. Will I be kicked out of the Chen family? Xiao Yuliang was a little speechless. Chen Jingquan is dead. If you are kicked out, won't the Chen family have no descendants? Do you think you're a dispensable piece of trash like Xiao Chen? That's true. Chen Jinping was relieved after listening. The night on the isolated island was cold, but there was a fire made by Xiao Chen in the cave. The two of them didn't feel cold. However, Shen Jingxian couldn't sleep. Too many things happened today. It overturned her nearly 18 years of life. Xiao Chen, are you asleep? Asked Shen Jingxian. No. Xiao Chen was cultivating. He basically didn't need to sleep. Then let's talk. I can't sleep, Shen Jingxian said. I'm not used to the sudden change of environment. Okay. Xiao Chen nodded. What do you want to say? Xiao Chen, have you been hiding your strength in the past? Are you pretending to be weak to eat the tiger? Shen Jingxian asked curiously. You are different from when you were in first high school. If I wasn't sure that you are really you now, I would have thought that you are a different person. People always change, don't they? Xiao Chen looked up at the stars outside the cave and sighed. If I say that I started cultivating after I was kicked out of the Xiao family, would you believe me? Of course not. The 5th level of inner force can't be cultivated overnight. Shen Jingxian rolled her eyes at Xiao Chen. Do you think I'm easy to fool? Chapter 208. Then you can think of it as me wanting to amaze the world and capture your heart. But before I could realize it, the Xiao family had an accident. Xiao Chen couldn't explain his own problem. It was difficult to explain his own things, so it was better to make up a random reason. I don't believe that you are so shallow. You can endure for so long, just to please a girl? Shen Jingxian was annoyed, but she didn't believe it. She was still very happy after listening to Xiao Chen's words. She wanted to say that in fact you have realized it, but in fact this is normal. Xiao Yuliang also hid his strength. He thought that I didn't know. In fact, I know that he is a martial artist at the 3rd level of inner power. Xiao Chen said. The children of every big family are not as simple as they look. Just like you seem to be very good to everyone. In fact, in your heart, you didn't like me pestering you before, right? No, I still have a good impression of you. Shen Jingxian was talking about the present, not the past. Let's not talk about me. Let's talk about you. Your Shen family is so powerful. Why do you want to marry the Chen family? Chen Jinping, that idiot, is it interesting for you to be with him? Asked Xiao Chen. Don't curse, Shen Jingxian said. Although he is a little stupid, you shouldn't say it out loud. It's very hurtful. Pfft. You are his fiancé, okay? How did you become on the same side as me? Xiao Chen couldn't help but laugh after listening. We are now friends for life and death, Shen Jingxian said. In contrast, our relationship is better. I'm very happy that you said that. Do you know? I used to dream of being alone with you, such as going on a trip together, said Xiao Chen. Don't say internet slang that I don't understand. Shen Jingxian continued. You're just trying to make me happy. I don't see how happy you are right now. If I don't talk to you, you'll fall asleep. You don't look happy at all. I'm just too shy to say it, Xiao Chen said with a smile. But in his heart, he thought that Shen Jingxian also knew how to joke. It turned out that she was also an ordinary girl. After being in close contact with the goddess, he realized that she was also an ordinary person. I don't believe it, Shen Jingxian said. Xiao Chen, can you tell me about yourself? What's going on with your father? How would I know? Xiao Chen shrugged helplessly. If I knew, I wouldn't have been kicked out of the Xiao family. They said that my father made a mistake in leading the trial team. But who knows the truth? Shen Jingxian wanted to say that you were kicked out of the Xiao family because of the Cheng family and the Xiao family, right? However, she still didn't say it. If this was the case, it wouldn't work if she exposed it. But if Xiao Chen couldn't be with Cheng Menjing, wouldn't she be the culprit? Cheng Menjing would definitely think that she had ulterior motives, right? Next time, when I go back to the Shen family, I will help you inquire about it. Shen Jingxian said. The Shen family still has a lot of information channels. Thank you very much, Xiao Chen said gratefully. He didn't have any official channels now, and he was alone. It couldn't be better that Shen Jingxian, as a member of the Shen family, could inquire about information for him. You don't have to be so polite to me. We are friends of life and death, said Shen Jingxian. And yes, your Shen family is so powerful. Why did you choose to marry the Chen family in Songning? It doesn't make sense. If you want to marry, at least it should be with the Xiao family, right? Xiao Chen said. Puff cough cough. Shen Jingxian listened to the first half of Xiao Chen's sentence. It was still very serious. The latter half of the sentence made Shen Jingxian a little dumbfounded. But she was also a little happy. Isn't the Xiao family and the Cheng family engaged before they were born? Why would I still get involved? Although the Shen family is very big, there are also many children in the Shen family. My father is responsible for expanding the business around Songning City. If he wants to be outstanding, he must unite with the local aristocratic families. At present, the Chen family is a better choice. The younger generation of the Chen family is not bad. Of course, I am talking about Chen Jingquan. At least my father thinks so. For the sake of family business marriage? This reminded Xiao Chen of CFA. However, even if you expand, so what if you don't expand? Uncle Shen won't be so stupid to sacrifice your happiness in exchange for this little benefit, right? It's not a sacrifice of my happiness. I have to get married anyway, right? Moreover, I have never liked anyone. As long as they are suitable, we will be together. As Shen Jingxian said this, she paused and said, in fact, if my father can win the business around Songning City, it will also be a help to my younger brother. My younger brother is a genius in the younger generation of the Shen family. He is a strong competitor for the next young master. For my younger brother, my father and I came to Songning City to expand the business. Well, every family has its own troubles. Now, I feel that it will be more relaxing to leave the Xiao family. At least, there isn't as much pressure as before. Xiao Chen smiled and said, actually, you can also give it a try. No, I have a younger brother. He is very excellent. I don't want his talent to be buried. Shen Jingxian said, my relationship with him is very good. When I was a child, when I was bullied, he always stood up for me. Although I am the elder sister, I am not as powerful as him. Well, maybe you haven't liked anyone, and your thoughts are different from mine. Xiao Chen nodded and said, but the Chen family, how do I say it? I feel that you have to be a widow. You want to kill Chen Jinpeng? Shen Jingshuan's eyes widened. Consider it a kind reminder. Xiao Chen sighed. If I don't kill him, he will kill me. We are all friends of life and death. Do you want me to die or him to die? Then he should die. Shen Jingxian was a little speechless. But I always feel that killing is not very good. Can't we solve it in other ways? Do you think it can? Asked Xiao Chen. Forget it. Anyway, if he dies, then he dies. I will look for other families to cooperate with. Shen Jingxian accepted this fact. Then, I am really sorry to you. When I can return to the Xiao family, I will suggest to see if I can marry with your family. Xiao Chen said, the Xiao family is stronger than the Chen family. Are you taking advantage of me? You want me to be your concubine? You are Cheng Minjing's fiancé, okay? Shen Jingxian rolled her eyes at Xiao Chen. Didn't the Cheng family break off the engagement? Xiao Chen suddenly thought of the arrogant young lady. He was really reluctant to be separated from her. If you can return to the Xiao family, it is estimated that you will continue the marriage. Shen Jingxian said. Okay, let's stop joking. What we said today is a little secret between the two of us. After we go back, don't mention it again. And I think so too. Xiao Chen nodded. He didn't know why he told Shen Jingxian that he wanted to kill Chen Jinpeng. But Shen Jingxian shouldn't harm him. Otherwise, just the fact that he hid his strength was enough to bring him big trouble. Then let's rest early. We still have to keep our strength and find a way to go back tomorrow. You don't want to occupy me on the island for a lifetime, do you? Shen Jingxian asked this as a joke, but she didn't know why she suddenly looked forward to Xiao Chen's answer. I want to, but the living environment here is too bad. Xiao Chen sighed and said, if there are no ships passing by tomorrow, I will take you to swim back. And, although Xiao Chen's answer wasn't so perfect, Shen Jingxian was very satisfied. This was a peaceful night. Xiao Chen and Shen Jingxian sat on both sides of the fire, looking at each other and sleeping. Xiao Chen didn't cultivate. He didn't take any medicine today. He was delayed for a day, so he just took it as a rest. The next day, when the first ray of sunlight floated into the cave in the morning, Xiao Chen and Shen Jingxian woke up. The two looked at each other and smiled. I will go out and get you something to eat. Wait for me. Xiao Chen said as he stood up and walked out of the cave. However, the first thing in the morning, Xiao Chen had to solve the problem of water in his body. Facing the sea breeze, Xiao Chen began to pee. Because Shen Jingxian was still in the cave, Xiao Chen didn't deliberately find a place to hide. Thinking of the heroic spirit in the past, I peed against the wind for 30 feet. Xiao Chen thought of a famous saying while peeing. Shen Jingxian was also a little anxious in the morning. Seeing that Xiao Chen had left, she tiptoed out of the cave. As soon as she went out, she heard Xiao Chen's heroic words not far away. She subconsciously looked over and saw Xiao Chen using the big bird to pee. She suddenly exclaimed. Xiao Chen was shocked by Shen Jingxian's cry. He thought that something was wrong with Shen Jingxian. He turned around and happened to be face to face with Shen Jingxian. F***ck. Xiao Chen was instantly embarrassed. Shen Jingxian quickly turned around and ran back to the cave. However, there was a thought in her mind. Could Cheng Minjing withstand such a big thing? She couldn't be too full, right? Shen Jingxian found that her thoughts were actually starting to become impure. Xiao Chen finished peeing awkwardly. He didn't dare to return to the cave. He quickly went to the coconut tree to pick the coconuts. Shen Jingxian waited for a while. When she felt that Xiao Chen had left, she quickly flashed out of the cave. When she saw that Xiao Chen was gone, she was relieved. After picking a few fruits, Xiao Chen was surprised to find that the wet patch on the ground had turned into two. He couldn't help but find it funny. He turned around and entered the cave. He didn't mention the previous embarrassment. He just put the coconuts in front of Shen Jingxian and said, "Eat some, then I will take you swimming back." "And have you washed your hands?" asked Shen Jingxian subconsciously. She was a person who liked cleanliness. "I washed in the sea. What about you?" asked Xiao Chen. Shen Jingxian blushed instantly. It seemed that Xiao Chen saw the pool of water outside. We are girls. We won't touch it with our hands." "Can I swim back? What if I run out of energy halfway?" Xiao Chen was actually a little worried. He looked like he was asking Shen Jingxian, but in fact he was asking the elder heaven ancestor. "Your energy is beyond your imagination. Keep it up." Shen Jingxian raised her small fist. "Hey, Goddess Jingxian. I realized that after I got familiar with you, you aren't a goddess anymore." Xiao Chen realized that Shen Jingxian was actually a normal and cute girl. Isn't there a saying? Behind every goddess, there is a man who has never treated her as a goddess. Shen Jingxian chuckled. Isn't that saying? Behind every goddess, there is a man who will **ck her until she wants to puke. Xiao Chen said weakly. Annoying, Shen Jingxian said angrily. How dare you f***ck me until I want to puke? Xiao Chen scratched his head. I'm just kidding. Shen Jingxian realized that the topic she and Xiao Chen talked about was a bit too much. In fact, she and Cheng Minjing usually talked about similar topics. The topic between best friends was taboo for men. No one would leak it out. I know. Xiao Chen sweated. We are really friends for life and death. There is no taboo topic. On the deserted island, there are no outsiders. There are only you and me in the world. Naturally, there are no scruples. After going back, it won't work. Shen Jingxian sighed. If you have time, you can also go to Cheng Minjing's villa to chat with me. I'm happy to be your life coach. Xiao Chen said. No, you're leading me down the path of evil again. Shen Jingxian pursed her lips and smiled. Xiao Chen smiled. The awkwardness from before was resolved. However, Xiao Chen asked Elder Heaven Ancestor in his mind. Elder Heaven Ancestor, is it okay if I swim back now? As long as you don't encounter a shark, there should be no problem, Elder Heaven Ancestor said. Besides, don't you have the goddess's power? What if we encounter a shark? Xiao Chen asked. What is your sixth sense for? If there is a shark in front, why don't you go around it in advance? Do you want to hit it? Elder Heaven Ancestor was speechless. Oh, Xiao Chen found that he still wasn't used to the powerful identity of a cultivator. Everything was from the perspective of a martial artist. Jingxian, do you want to lie on my back or hug me? Xiao Chen asked. Either is fine, but let's do it in front. I don't feel safe at the back, Shen Jingxian said. It's up to you. Xiao Chen stood on the beach and pointed at himself, signaling Shen Jingxian to hang on him. Although she knew that Xiao Chen was taking her to swim back, she was still a bit hesitant. She hesitated for a moment before walking over and lying in Xiao Chen's arms. This action was like a hug between lovers. It felt good. Then, Shen Jingxian was like an octopus, clinging onto Xiao Chen's body, and Xiao Chen dragged the shark into the sea. Do we have to drag the shark? Shen Jingxian felt that it was too hard for Xiao Chen to swim with only his feet while holding her in front and dragging the shark. It was not a swimming posture at all. Yes, Bebe wants to eat it. Xiao Chen nodded. You are so nice to her. Shen Jingxian was a bit envious, but not too envious. Bebe is a very nice person. She has helped me a lot in secret during this period of time, Xiao Chen said. Does she know about you too? Shen Jingxian could tell that Jean Bebe and Xiao Chen were unbelievably close, and their personalities were the same. They were greedy for money and food, and liked to play tricks on people. Maybe a little. Xiao Chen was not sure either. But she and eldest lady can be trusted. They won't betray me. What do you mean? Can I? Shen Jingxian was a bit unhappy. Of course not. Xiao Chen added hurriedly. He found that there was something wrong with Shen Jingxian today. She often behaved like a little girl. With the help of his powerful sixth senses, Xiao Chen could have found the shore where Cheng Minjing was after swimming back. But he did not want Qiao Yuliang to see him. Therefore, Xiao Chen chose the sea area 1 kilometer away from them. They didn't encounter any danger on the way back. When they reached the shore, Xiao Chen was so tired that he laid down on the beach. Shen Jingxian also laid down beside him. The two of them looked like a couple who came to sunbathe. I didn't expect that you could come back alive. Xiao Chen, you are excellent. Shen Jingxian looked at the blue sky and said quietly. Thank you for the compliment. Xiao Chen rested for a moment and stood up. Let's go back. When we get there, we will say that we were rescued by the patrol boat. They also helped to catch the shark. And Shen Jingxian nodded. The two of them walked side by side along the coastline. Xiao Chen dragged the shark, and his other hand subconsciously held Shen Jingshuan's buttocks. Shen Jingxian was suddenly shocked when her buttocks were touched. She exclaimed and glared at Xiao Chen. What are you doing? When I dragged the shark, I thought we were still in the sea. It was a subconscious action. I was afraid that you would fall off me when I was swimming. Xiao Chen did not mean it. In fact, he really thought so. Although it felt good to touch in this situation, it was completely different from the feeling in the sea. Oh, Shen Jingshuan's heart softened at once. She thought that Xiao Chen had to drag the shark with one hand and hold her with the other. How hard must it have been for him to swim back? Even if he did it on purpose, so what? Moreover, it was not on purpose. It was for her. Xiaochen moved his hand away quickly. Shen Jingxian felt a little disappointed. She wanted to say that he could still pretend that they were in the sea, but she did not have the courage to say it. If she said it, she was afraid that Xiaochen would look down on her and no longer treat her as a goddess. 1 kilometer was actually not too far. In the blink of an eye, they could see the cars and tents not far away. Cheng Minjing sat on the beach early in the morning. She looked at the vast ocean in front of her, trying to see something from it. But how could she see anything? Hey, cousin Minjing, go and eat something. It's almost noon. You are about to become a husband-gazing rock. Jean Bebe said. Xiaochen treats you so well. Why aren't you worried? Cheng Minjing frowned. Hee, cousin Minjing, you finally admit that you are worried about my cousin-in-law too. Jean Bebe looked at Cheng Minjing with a smile. I think I have the potential to be a prophet. My cousin-in-law will be fine. You've watched too many TV dramas, haven't you? Don't ever watch them after you go back. Cheng Minjing glared at Jean Bebe. She was still joking at such a critical moment. In fact, I'm confident in my cousin-in-law. Jean Bebe calmed herself down. Recalling the miracles of Xiaochen, she did not believe that Xiaochen would be screwed just like that. The man that Jean Bebe thought highly of must be very awesome. But the sea is different from the land. It is full of unknowns. Cheng Minjing sighed. Before she finished, she saw Jean Bebe stand up and run away from her. She immediately burst into fury. What's wrong with Jean Bebe? Why is she so impatient at such a critical moment? She was about to scold her when she heard Jean Bebe jumping and shouting, Cousin-in-law! Cousin-in-law! Chapter 210. Cheng Minjing was stunned. Could it be that Jean Bebe missed Xiaochen so much that she became mentally ill all of a sudden? However, when she saw Xiaochen and Shen Jingshuan's silhouettes not far away, she immediately could not believe her eyes. They were back. Cheng Minjing hurried to get up from the beach. Her previous gloominess was gone. However, she was a little unhappy when she saw Xiaochen walking over with Shen Jingxian side by side with a shark in his hand. Humph! You only know how to pretend to be pretentious to please Shen Jingxian. Why didn't I see you trying to please me with a shark? I don't need to worry about you anymore. You deserve to die. If Xiaochen heard her, Xiaochen would feel wronged. The shark he was leading was for Jean Bebe. Jean Bebe's scream also attracted Chao Yuliang and Qin Jinping, who were not far away. Previously, they and Cheng Minjing had the same thought, and thought that Jean Bebe was hallucinating. However, when they turned around and saw Xiaochen and Shen Jingxian walking to them safe and sound, they were immediately dumbfounded. What's going on? Why aren't they dead? Chao Yuliang came to himself after a long while and asked Qin Jinping sternly. I don't know. Qin Jinping was so scared that he almost peed his pants. His eyes widened in shock. That's impossible. They both fell into the sea. How could they come back? Damn it. Did you leave any loopholes at that time? They don't know that you helped them, do they? Fierceness flashed in Chao Yuliang's eyes. I don't know. When Li Shanying rescued me, they had already sunk to the bottom of the sea. Chen Jinping said. I got it. Were they rescued by someone else too? Are there other people nearby? Chao Yuliang asked with a frown. That's not true. But it's a dangerous area nearby. There should be patrol ships appearing at a fixed time every day. Chen Jinping said. Let's go and take a look first. Chao Yuliang cursed in his heart. Wasn't he just freaking lucky? If he didn't die, was there any justice in the world? Chao Yuliang and Chen Jinping pretended to be concerned and ran over. Chao Yuliang said, Xiaochen, are you all right? We've been waiting for you here for a day and a night. If you hadn't appeared, we would have gone to the warrior guild to seek help. Oh, is that so? Xiaochen laughed. Then you really underestimate me. How can I die? I just went on a date with goddess Jingxian in the sea, and came back after the date. His words made Cheng Minjing frown slightly. Although she knew that Xiaochen must be talking nonsense, she still felt a little uncomfortable. I'm here worrying about you. And you went on a date? Shen Jingshuan's face blushed slightly, as if what Xiao Chen said was true. Well, haha, see? I told you that my cousin-in-law is a transformer. He's back. Jean Bebe didn't see through Cheng Minjing's thoughts and shouted happily. Humph! Who knows if he was lucky enough to be rescued by a fishing boat? Cheng Minjing curled her lips, but she was a little curious. How did Xiao Chen come back? It's not a fishing boat. It's a patrol ship that helped us catch a shark, Xiao Chen said as he pointed at the shark in his hand. In fact, how could a patrol ship help Xiao Chen catch a shark? They all had other jobs. However, neither Cheng Minjing nor Chao Yuliang knew about such things. Therefore, they didn't care about it at all. They just thought that Xiao Chen was lucky. Jean Bebe, on the other hand, looked at the shark in Xiao Chen's hand where a piece of meat had been cut off and was deep in thought. Xiao Chen was rescued by a patrol ship. Not only did they help him catch a shark, but they also asked him to cut off a piece of the shark's meat and cook it for him. However, Jean Bebe didn't say anything. She only pretended to be happy. Oh, my cousin-in-law has been thinking about me. I'm so happy. Seeing that Xiao Chen and Shen Jingxian didn't mention the details of falling into the water and didn't suspect Chen Jinping, Chao Yuliang was instantly relieved. However, when he was relieved, he heard Xiao Chen ask, Chen Jinping, how did you come back? I thought you were dead, and you were planning to marry your widow. Shen Jingxian almost kicked Xiao Chen. Widow, can't you have a little bit of integrity? I haven't married Chen Jinping yet, okay? Well, I know how to swim. I wanted to save you, but I found that you had all sunk to the bottom and couldn't see anyone. I could only swim by myself. Finally, I saw a ship and was saved, Chen Jinping said awkwardly. Oh, I see. I thought you didn't want Shen Jingxian anymore, and gave her to me, Xiao Chen said. Haha, how could that be? It wasn't arranged by my family. However, Boss Xiao Chen, if you are powerful, you can also try to pursue her. Chen Jinping said helplessly. He didn't want Xiao Chen to touch Shen Jingxian at all. However, he had to say something polite at this time. Oh, I will think about it. Goddess Jingxian, you see that your fiancé doesn't mind. I will ask you out in the future. Xiao Chen nodded and said. Shen Jingxian pursed her lips and didn't know how to answer. However, Cheng Minjing kicked Xiao Chen and said, Don't joke around. Why would Jingxian like you? Just be this lady's servant obediently. Don't have such perverted thoughts. Oh, Xiao Chen nodded. Haha, since Xiao Chen and Jingxian are fine, that's great. Let's go and barbecue. We didn't have much to eat yesterday. Let's have a big meal today. Chao Yuliang said to smooth things over. Thus the few of them sat around the beach. Xiao Chen cut up the shark meat, and Chen Jinping brought over a few coconuts, as if he was presenting a treasure. Jingxian, eat some coconuts. They're fresh. I just plucked them from the tree. They taste completely different from the ones you buy in the supermarket. Shen Jingxian was slightly stunned. She took the coconuts, but she thought of Xiao Chen. However, now wasn't the time to fall out with Chen Jinping. She still had a great mission, which was to be an undercover and investigate the unspeakable secrets of Chen Jinping and Chao Yuliang. So, on the surface, Shen Jingxian still took the coconuts. Come on, she took a sip, but she almost spat it out. It was completely different from the coconuts that Xiao Chen gave her. This wasn't as good as the coconut juice sold in the supermarket. How does it taste? Isn't it delicious? Chen Jinping looked at Shen Jingxian expectantly. It's okay. Shen Jingxian nodded against her will. Haha, that's right. This is a pollution-free natural coconut from the beach. I specially customized it for you. How about it? Chen Jinping said proudly. Thank you. Shen Jingxian wanted to say, what a broken coconut. It tastes terrible. It's not as good as the one given by Xiao Chen. But her character was like this. She couldn't say those hurtful words. You're welcome. Let's go to eat shark meat. I'll roast some for you. Chen Jinping said. While Xiao Chen was busy roasting the shark meat for eldest lady and Jean Bebe, Chen Jinping had to roast the shark meat for Chao Yuliang and Shen Jingxian. After all, he was their little brother. Because the shark meat roasted by Xiao Chen was enhanced by primordial qi, Cheng Minjing and Jean Bebe enjoyed it very much. But Chen Jinping didn't. The shark meat was not delicious in the first place. Besides, the cooking conditions were limited. The shark meat roasted by Chen Jinping was fishy and hard. Shen Jingxian almost threw up after taking a bite. How could it taste so bad? However, when they were on the deserted island, the shark meat roasted by Xiao Chen tasted so good, while the shark meat roasted by Chen Jinping tasted so bad. Why was there such a huge difference between the shark meat and the shark meat? Also, it was not as simple as not tasty. It would be nice to say that the shark meat tasted bad. It was simply hard to swallow. However, when Shen Jingxian saw that Jin Beibei and Cheng Minjing were enjoying the shark meat, she was confused. Could it be that the shark meat roasted on a small cart was still so delicious? Was it because of the shark or the fire? On second thought, she was afraid that it was not the case. It must be because of the difference in their skills. Therefore, Shen Jingxian envied Cheng Minjing and Jin Beibei very much, but she couldn't say that she also wanted to eat the shark meat roasted by Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen worked for Cheng Minjing, and she had Chen Jinping on her side. If she said that, what would Cheng Minjing think? I'm full. Shen Jingxian put down the shark meat after taking 2 bites. She really could not eat anymore. Eat more. Chen Jinping saw that Shen Jingxian wasn't eating anymore, so he picked up a piece of roasted shark meat and stuffed it into his mouth. However, he only took 1 bite and spat it out. What the F***ck is this? Why doesn't it taste good? Hey, your cooking skills are too lousy. The food cooked by my cousin-in-law is the best. Jin Beibei's mouth was full of grease. Well, seeing that Jin Beibei and Cheng Minjing were really enjoying the shark meat and did not seem to be pretending, Chen Jinping was somewhat confused. Was his cooking skills really so bad? Jingxian, try the shark meat roasted by Xiao Chen. It's delicious. As Cheng Minjing spoke, she picked up a piece of shark meat and gave it to Shen Jingxian. Then, I'll have a try. Shen Jingxian took it. In fact, Shen Jingxian was a bit sad in her heart. On the uninhabited island, Xiao Chen's food belonged to her. But now that she was back, she had to depend on Cheng Minjing's mood. Shen Jingxian knew that Cheng Minjing would definitely give it to her if she asked for it. But the problem was, how could she ask for it? What reason could she use to ask for it? What? It's really delicious. Shen Jingxian actually wanted to take a bite, but she still pretended to take a small bite tentatively. Then she kept praising. Minjing, you found a good servant. You're so lucky to have delicious food at home. Of course. Look whose servant she is. Only an upper-class person like me can have such a great chef. Cheng Minjing said complacently. Jingxian, you can come to my house for dinner on weekends. Then I'm sorry to bother you. Shen Jingxian was very willing to go there, whether it was to eat or to see Xiao Chen. Chen Jinping had a helpless look on his face. This Xiao Chen was a servant, but he actually managed to learn such good culinary skills. It was really infuriating. However, when he thought about it, it was nothing much. The chefs in 5-star hotels were very good, but they were just chefs. How could they compare with him? You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.